Chapter 2884. The desolate mountain range had an extremely powerful domain. The closer one was to the front, the stronger the domain. Hence, to enter the desolate mountain range, one had to enter from the back. After entering the mountain range, the effect of the domain would be greatly reduced. This way, one could follow the mountain range and slowly enter the depths of the desolate mountain range. Hence, when one entered the desolate mountain range, they would enter from the back. Lu Ming's group of 8 flew in from the back. As soon as they entered the desolate mountain range, Lu Ming felt a powerful domain acting on him. It almost dragged Lu Ming down into the mountain range. They quickly circulated their divine power to resist the domain and slowly landed on the ground. As soon as they landed, there was a loud roar. It was a desolate beast. There were many desolate beasts living in the desolate mountain range. Some of them were very strong. However, this one was only a level 9 true god. A mere true god wants to sneak up on me? You're courting death. The bewitching woman shouted coldly. A sword gleam flashed and the wild beast was split into 2 halves. Thereafter, she cast a cold glance at Lu Ming, as if to say that it was useless to see it. The true god realm was so weak. Lu Ming could not be bothered with this woman. In Lu Ming's heart, this woman was a fool. Being ignored by Lu Ming, the seductive lady's eyes flashed coldly. A mere true god dared to ignore her. He really did not know his place. Follow me, Sankei said and then walked in a direction. The group followed Sankei forward. Along the way they were attacked by desolate beasts from time to time. However, the desolate beasts here were not very high level. Most of them were below the heavenly god realm. There were not many heavenly gods. To Lu Ming and the rest they were not a threat and were easily killed. After half a day they were already a few million miles into the desolate mountain range. At this point, the domain of the desolate mountain range was already very strong. The pressure was getting stronger. Not to mention flying, it was difficult to even circulate divine power here. At this moment they came to a huge valley. At this point Sankei suddenly stopped. Sankei, why aren't you moving? Do you know where the heart of desolation is? A burly man asked. Hee. Sankei laughed strangely as his gaze swept past Lu Ming and the others and he said, I don't know where the heart of chaos is, but I know that all of you are about to die. Hee. Among the 7 people, except for Lu Ming, the expressions of the others changed. Sankei, what do you mean by that? What do you want? The seductive woman glared at Sankei. What are you doing? Very simple. Hand over all the treasures on you and I can leave your corpses intact. Otherwise, I can only feed you to the desolate beasts. Sankei sneered. Sankei, sure enough, you didn't bring us here with good intentions. However, you think that you can kill us? That's ridiculous. A big man said coldly, his body giving off a powerful aura. Level 4 heavenly god. This burly man was a 4th level celestial god, which was even higher than Sank's 3rd level celestial god. The burly man's powerful aura pressed down on Sankei, but Sank's expression didn't change at all. Instead, the killing intent in his eyes intensified. Come out, Sankei yelled. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Following Sank's voice, a few figures suddenly dashed out from the valley. There were 11 figures in total. Their speed was shocking as they surrounded Lu Ming and his crew in just a few flashes. Sankei, you set up an ambush here. You set us up. Damn it. The seductive woman, the burly man, and the others yelled in astonishment. At this point, no matter how stupid they were, they understood what was going on. Sankei had asked them to team up with him to set them up. He had planned it all along. He had asked the others to set up an ambush here to rob them of their treasures. They had been tricked. It's him. Lu Ming wore a calm expression, but his eyes flickered with murderous intent when he saw one of the burly men. The burly man was the one who had attacked Lu Ming's galaxy battleship. He was the one who had attacked Lu Ming's galaxy battleship. Lu Ming was not too bothered at the time, but he did not expect to stumble into the burly man again, who was trying to rob him together with Sankei and his crew. He could not help but say that enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Hand over your treasures so we won't have to do it ourselves, Sankei said with a hollow laugh. However, no one dared to move. Who would hand over their treasures so easily? Why are we wasting our time talking to them? Let's just kill them to prevent any unexpected events from happening. The burly man who had attacked Lu Ming before snapped coldly and unleashed a powerful aura. The burly man was also a 4th-layer heaven god realm cultivator. As a matter of fact, there were 6 4th-layer heaven gods among the group. Meanwhile, Lu Ming's crew only had 1 4th-layer heaven god realm cultivator. The difference was too huge. You want me to hand over my treasures? In your dreams. On Lu Ming's side, the fourth layer heaven god yelled and dashed to the side with all his might. Bang! He blasted out with a fist, his aura exploding as he crushed forward. He wanted to carve out a bloody path to escape. You're courting death. A few experts on the other side yelled and attacked the burly man at the same time. These people were all fourth-layer celestial gods. They worked together to attack the burly man, using terrifying killing moves. The burly man was no match for the three of them. Two of the attacks landed on the burly man, who let out a cry of agony and was sent flying. He spat out mouthfuls of blood and was half dead. The seductive woman and her crew were as pale as snow, without a trace of blood. Even the strongest among them was almost killed by a single move. They were even more hopeless now. Many of them wore looks of despair. Brother Sankei, brothers, as long as you don't kill me, I'll agree to anything you want. The seductive woman wore a seductive smile as she twisted her slender waist seductively and glanced at Sankei and his crew. Bitch, piss off. Your move is useless against us. Attack, kill them. Sankei snapped coldly. In their line of work they would never leave anyone alive. It was useless no matter how seductive the woman was. Bang. Bang. Sankei and his crew made their moves. Kid, I'll be the first to send you on your way. Sank's eyes flickered coldly as he stared at Lu Ming. He was the first to charge at Lu Ming. His blood-red claws were grabbing at Lu Ming's heart. However, after a flash of cold light, Sank's body stiffened. His eyes widened in disbelief. That was because his heart had been pierced through by a spear. Of course, Lu Ming was the one who stabbed the spear. Chapter 2885. You, Sankei stared at Lu Ming in disbelief before wearing a terrified expression. He never thought that Lu Ming, who was only a 9th-layer true god realm cultivator, would be so fast. He did not even see how Lu Ming attacked. Lu Ming's spear had already pierced through his heart. He knew that he had encountered a terrifying genius, a genius whose battle prowess could not be measured by his cultivation level. Spare me. Sankei was bleeding profusely as he begged Lu Ming for mercy. Be on your way, Lu Ming said coldly. With a shudder of his spear, Sank's body was torn into pieces, dying on the spot. Kid, you're courting death. The bulky man who attacked Lu Ming's warship roared and charged at Lu Ming. His aura of the 4th-layer heaven god realm surged at Lu Ming, trying to kill Lu Ming. Godly dragon image, Lu Ming uttered in a deep voice. Following this, 2 9-clawed dragons appeared in the sky. The 9-clawed dragons lunged at the bulky man. The 2 9-clawed dragons had a total of 18 claws, tearing through the sky with shocking power. The bulky man's expression changed rapidly. His palm turned pitch black as he slashed at the claws of the 9-clawed dragons. Bang, bang, bang. Terrifying collisions took place continuously. In just an instant they had exchanged more than 10 blows. The bulky man's expression changed tremendously as he was knocked back while vomiting blood. He was severely injured. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, even if he did not transform into the ancient god flesh, the battle character art alone was enough to amplify his strength by 4 times. It was not something that the bulky man could resist. Brr, brr. The 2 9-clawed dragons roared and continued to lunge at each other, tearing the bulky man into pieces. How is this possible? Lu Ming had killed 2 experts in a row, and the others were finally shocked. They cried out in alarm one after another, their faces full of disbelief. Originally, when they saw that Lu Ming was only a true god realm cultivation base, they did not place Lu Ming in their eyes at all. At this moment, Lu Ming erupted with unimaginable battle prowess, causing them to be incomparably terrified. Okay. The seductive woman and the others were at a loss for words at first, but they were soon overjoyed. Lu Ming actually had such strong combat strength. They were saved. Kill. Lu Ming changed his direction and roared. Another 9-clawed dragon appeared in the air. A total of 3 9-clawed dragons pounced towards the others. At the same time, Lu Ming brandished his long spear and used the 3 strikes of annihilation to attack another person. The crescent-shaped spear light slashed down, splitting a 4th-level celestial god into 2. Then, the 3 9-clawed dragon worked together to kill the other 4th-level celestial god. It was a complete suppression. Go quickly. The others turned pale with fright and frantically retreated, running for their lives in all directions. Lu Ming charged forward and killed another 2 people. He did not continue to pursue them. Soon those people disappeared into the vast mountains. The seductive woman and the others looked at Lu Ming with eyes full of shock and horror. They knew that they had encountered a peerless genius. Lu Ming, thank you for your help just now. I can't thank you enough. The few of them thanked Lu Ming one after another. Lu Ming, you're really amazing. Sister had misjudged you previously. Sister apologizes to you. The seductive woman's gaze turned and smiled sweetly. She swayed her slender waist and walked towards Lu Ming. She even threw a flirtatious glance at Lu Ming, as if she was going to seduce Lu Ming. Lu Ming glanced at the other party indifferently. He was too lazy to say anything and turned around to leave. This woman had a snobbish look. Previously, when she saw that Lu Ming was only in the true god realm, she mocked and ridiculed him. Now that she saw Lu Ming's shocking strength, she immediately threw herself at Lu Ming. It could be said that she was extremely shameless. Brother Lu Ming, where are you going? Sister will go with you. The seductive woman immediately followed Lu Ming. Get lost. Lu Ming turned around and shouted coldly. His eyes were sharp and emitted a cold, murderous intent. The seductive woman turned pale with fright and stopped in her tracks, not daring to come closer. Lu Ming's figure flashed and turned into a ray of light, leaving the place. This Lu Ming must be an exceptional genius from the Qin Tian 13 sects, or even the 3 overlords. We misjudged him previously. That's right. Such people have high standards. You want to seduce someone like you? You're delusional. The others looked at the seductive woman with ridicule, making her feel so ashamed that she was about to bleed. After Lu Ming set off alone, he headed towards the depths of the chaotic Desolation mountain range. Along the way there were no mishaps. Soon, Lu Ming was halfway into the chaotic Desolation mountain range. At this moment, Lu Ming noticed that there were people rushing in a certain direction. Lu Ming's eyes moved and he followed in that direction. After flying for a while, a lake appeared in front of him. There were many people gathered around the lake. Everyone was staring at the lake. Could it be that the heart of desolation is here? Lu Ming pondered. What? The lake water rolled and waves surged, creating 1,000 layers of waves. Then a shocking scene appeared. Suddenly, a violent explosion erupted from the bottom of the lake, causing the entire lake's water to be blasted into the sky. The lake water splashed everywhere, revealing a dark cave underneath. Rumble. Under the cave, tentacles suddenly stretched out. However, these tentacles were not the tentacles of living creatures. They were formed by energy. After waving them, they looked like paths in the sky. There were a total of 81 paths. This is the path of vitality. The heart of desolation is inside. Only by stepping on the path of vitality can one enter the cave and obtain the heart of desolation. Someone shouted. The heart of desolation is mine. Let's go. Immediately, someone rushed towards the path of vital energy and landed steadily on it. What? Why can't I step on it? I can't either. I understand now. A path of vitality can only accommodate one person. Once one person steps on it, the other person can't go on. Someone noticed something fishy. Once one person stepped onto the path of origin chi, if the others wanted to continue, they would be blocked by a powerful force, blocking them outside the path of origin chi. A path of vitality could only accommodate one person. There were a total of 81 paths and only 81 people could enter the cave. However, there were a few thousand people here. Among the few thousand people, only 81 people could enter. After figuring this out, everyone's eyes were burning with passion. Then they attacked one after another. This path is mine. Get lost. Someone erupted with power, unleashing a powerful attack, attacking the person who stepped on that path. Although they couldn't enter, they could attack from the outside without any hindrance. A scream was heard. On one of the path of vitality, a person with a lower cultivation base was killed directly. Blood splattered on the path of vitality. Chapter 2886. A chaotic battle broke out. Thousands of people dashed towards the 81 paths of origin chi and started a bloody battle. Get lost, this path is mine. You're the one who should get lost, die. The heart of desolation was extremely precious. Many people's eyes turned red as they dashed towards the 81 paths of origin chi. Blood splattered everywhere as cries of agony were heard. A large number of True God Realm experts died in an instant. The remaining True God Realm experts finally came to their senses and retreated in fear, withdrawing from the battle. They understood that they couldn't compete with the heavenly gods with their cultivation base. Otherwise, death would be the only outcome. However, there were still many heavenly gods. The battle became even more intense. However, some of them had extremely high cultivation bases, reaching the 7th layer heavenly god realm. 7th layer heavenly gods were definitely the strongest among these people. Their god force was like a tidal wave. With a single punch, several people were killed. No one could stop them. There were more than a dozen of them, occupying more than 10 paths of origin chi. In addition, some 6th-layer heavenly gods were extremely terrifying. They suppressed the crowd and occupied some paths of origin chi. The strongest competitors were those at the 5th and 4th level of the heavenly god realm. There were many of them, more than 81 of them. They knew that they couldn't win against those at the 6th and 7th level of the heavenly god realm. Therefore they gathered at the other paths and the competition was intense. Lu Ming didn't make a move at first. After a while he flew towards one of the paths of origin chi. This true god realm kid dares to go up, he's courting death. His greed is too strong, he won't live for long. Some true god realm experts saw Lu Ming and mocked him as if they were waiting to watch a good show. Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast. He had already arrived at the entrance of one of the paths of origin chi. A true god realm kid dares to join in the fun, he's courting death. A heavenly god realm man threw a punch at Lu Ming, creating a terrifying whistling sound. Get lost. Lu Ming coldly shouted, activating the battle secret art to increase his battle prowess by 4 times. His long spear trembled and he thrust it towards his opponent. When the spear collided with the opponent's fist, an intense explosion rang out. The burly man's fist energy was instantly destroyed. His body violently trembled and he retreated, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. How is this possible? The others were dumbfounded. Especially those true god realm people who mocked Lu Ming, they were even more dumbfounded. This brat, a true god realm, actually has such powerful strength. Kill him first. An old man shouted loudly and charged towards Lu Ming, his aura berserk. This person was shockingly a 5th-level heavenly god. Get lost, get lost. Lu Ming shouted as he stepped forward. With each step, a 9-clawed dragon would appear above his head. After 3 steps, 3 9-clawed dragons had appeared above his head. The 3 9-clawed dragons roared furiously as they charged towards their opponent. At the same time, 9 ice chains appeared on Lu Ming's body, wrapping around his opponent and emitting a shocking chill. Before transforming into his ancient god body, Lu Ming had to use all his strength against a 5th-level heavenly god. World extinguishing 3 strikes, moon slashing. Holding the spear with both hands, he threw out 3 consecutive strikes. 3 crescent-shaped spear lights slashed towards his opponent. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 clashed and an intense battle ensued. For a moment, it was difficult for them to split their attention. However, the others took the opportunity to rush towards the path of origin chi. Brat, I won't fight with you anymore. The old man exchanged a blow with Lu Ming, and his figure retreated, heading towards a path of origin chi. Lu Ming also followed, joining the others in a chaotic battle. This path had 3 5th-level heavenly gods, 4 4th-level heavenly gods, and Lu Ming. The 8 of them fought fiercely. Those below the 4th-level heavenly god realm were not strong enough to join the battle. The 8 of them fought in a chaotic battle. A few 4th-level heavenly gods could still hold on for a while, but soon they could not hold on any longer. One of them was struck in the vitals by a 5th-level heavenly god realm expert, dying on the spot. Moon slashing. Lu Ming threw out a blow, severely injuring a 4th-level heavenly god realm expert. The remaining 4th-level heavenly gods retreated with a solemn expression. Only 3 4th-level heavenly gods were left on this path, including Lu Ming, and they were still fighting. Lu Ming did not plan to use his ancient god body. The ancient god body was his trump card, and he could not use it easily. After all, there would definitely be more terrifying battles on this path of origin chi. If they really encountered the heart of chaos, a bloody battle would be unavoidable. Lu Ming only used various skills, the ice shackles, and the godly dragon aspect technique to fight against the enemies. Such a battle consumed a lot of their god force. After exchanging more than 100 blows, the others were running out of god force, but Lu Ming was still full of energy. Lu Ming gradually gained the upper hand. Meanwhile, the 7th and 6th level heavenly gods had already entered the depths of the cave. The other 3 were starting to get anxious. This kid is too strange. He has such a strong god force with only the cultivation of the true god realm. Why don't the 3 of us team up and take him down, then decide the winner? The other 3 5th-level heavenly gods planned to team up to deal with Lu Ming first. The 3 of them had the same idea. They immediately joined forces and attacked Lu Ming. I was planning to save my trump card, but I'll fulfill your wish now. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. His body began to expand rapidly. Lu Ming began to execute the ancient god technique to transform into the ancient god flesh. However, Lu Ming did not fully execute the ancient god technique, nor did he transform into a cyan-armored ancient god. He only transformed into the 2nd level, the orange-armored ancient god. His height was only around 30 meters. This way he could save a lot of energy. Even after transforming into an orange-armored ancient god, Lu Ming's strength skyrocketed. He swung his spear and sent a 5th-level heavenly god flying. Kill? Lu Ming took big strides forward and charged toward the elder. His violent attacks were like a storm, pouring down on the elder. How is this possible? The old man was shocked. He tried his best to defend himself, but he could not stop Lu Ming. After barely managing to defend himself, Lu Ming killed him with a single spear strike. Following this, Lu Ming attacked the other two. The other two turned pale with fright, not daring to stop Lu Ming at all. They retreated far away. Lu Ming landed on the vital chi path and strode forward. No one stopped him. This is also too strong, right? Is this still the realm of the true God realm? Those true God realm existences in the distance were all staring wide-eyed and tongue-tied, unable to react for a moment. Some people were unbelievably discouraged. Similarly, in the true God realm, the disparity between them and Lu Ming was too great. They did not know whether it was them who were too useless, or Lu Ming who was too freakish. Lu Ming could not be bothered with these people's thoughts. He ran at high speed, following the vital chi path, deep into the cave. Chapter 2887. After running for a while on the path of vitality, Lu Ming used the ancient god tactic to shrink his body and revert to his normal form. Maintaining the ancient god body consumed a lot of stamina. There was probably going to be a big battle later, so he needed to conserve his stamina. He did not know where the vital energy path came from. Lu Ming followed the vital energy path and walked for thousands of miles before he finally reached the end. In front of him, there was a huge bubble floating in the dark void. Tentacles extended from the bubble. These tentacles were the 81 origin chi roads under their feet. Lu Ming's eyes were instantly attracted by something in the middle of the bubble. It was a crystal that looked like a heart, emitting a bright light. The Heart of Desolation. Lu Ming knew that it was the Heart of Desolation. However, no one fought for it. Those who came in earlier than Lu Ming stood at the end of the origin chi road, looking at the Heart of Desolation greedily. These people shouldn't be able to enter. Lu Ming pondered but did not act rashly. However, even though Lu Ming did not move, the others did. There was a flash in the eyes of an old lady who entered at about the same time as Lu Ming. She took big strides forward and pounced toward the bubble. She wanted to dash into the bubble and grab the Heart of Desolation. The others watched with cold smiles on their faces. Bang! The old woman slammed into the air bubble. She slammed into it. With a scream, the old woman retreated. Her face was bruised, but her injuries were not serious. Stop dreaming. We can't enter this bubble now. One of them sneered. Why didn't you warn me? The old woman stared at that person with a gloomy face. Who do you think you are? Why should I warn you? That person sneered. You. The old woman gritted her teeth. However, her cultivation was not as good as the other party, so she did not dare to say anything. What should we do? Are we just going to look at the Heart of Desolation and not get it? Someone frowned. The Heart of Desolation has appeared before. I saw it recorded in an ancient book. At this moment, a white-haired old man spoke. You've seen the records, then do you know how to obtain the Heart of Chaos? Someone's eyes lit up as he looked at the white-haired old man. I do know. There's no harm in telling you. The white-haired old man smiled faintly and said, the balloon outside the Heart of Chaos is formed by powerful energy. Every day the energy will extend into 81 paths of energy. Every time, only 80 people can follow the paths of energy to reach the center. Therefore, only when living beings have stepped onto all 81 paths of vitality will there be a way to obtain the Heart of Chaos. According to what you said, when the 81 paths of vitality are occupied, this bubble, which is the vitality morning and evening, will dissipate. Someone asked. In your dreams. Let me tell you all, not all 81 origin energy paths have people on them. You will not be able to obtain the Heart of Desolation. It is not that easy to break through origin energy day and night. You will still need some luck. The white-haired old man said. Why do you still need luck? Old man, can't you finish your sentence in one go? Someone said impatiently. What's the rush? Isn't there still a lot of origin energy paths that have not been reached yet? The white-haired old man replied faintly, then slowly said, if you want to break through origin energy day and night, you will need everyone to work together. Everyone on the 81 origin energy paths has to work together and pour their divine energy into origin energy day and night to activate origin energy pillars. Only by activating 999 origin energy pillars can one break through origin energy day and night. So it's that simple. I'll go first. A middle-aged man took the lead and walked to the origin energy day and night. His palm faced the origin energy day and night, and surging divine energy continuously poured into the origin energy day and night. The origin energy day and night vibrated slightly, and then a certain part of it vibrated more and more violently. In the end, 100-meter-long origin energy pillar flew out, like a long snake dancing in the air. Again. The middle-aged man roared and continued to pour in divine energy. The origin energy day and night vibrated, and then 2 more origin energy pillars flew out. There were a total of 3 origin chi pillars, but at this point there was no 4th origin chi pillar. Come out! Come out! The middle-aged man roared and continued to pour in divine energy, but the origin energy day and night didn't move at all. So little? Only 3? Many people looked at each other. The middle-aged man was a 6th-level celestial god, but he could only stimulate 3 origin energy pillars. This made many people's hearts sink. In order to activate the origin energy day and night, 999 origin energy pillars were required, and there were only 81 of them. Based on this ratio, it was impossible to activate the origin energy day and night. The middle-aged man's face was red with shame. I'll do it. Following that, a middle-aged woman stepped forward and inserted her god force into the morning and evening pillar. She was also a 6th-level celestial god, but even with all her might, she could only activate 3 morning and evening pillars. This made many people's faces turn even uglier. Following that, a 7th-level celestial god stepped forward, but his situation wasn't any better. He could only stimulate 5 origin energy pillars. Everyone looked at each other. Based on this ratio, even if all 81 of them stepped forward, they wouldn't be able to activate more than 300 origin energy pillars. It was impossible to activate the origin energy day and night. Sigh as expected. From what I know, the number of origin energy pillars activated is related to one's cultivation, but it's more related to one's talent. The higher one's talent is, the more origin energy pillars they can activate. In the past, every time the Heart of Desolation appeared, people would gather in the Desolation mountain range. However, very few people were able to get it, because they couldn't open the vital energy day and night. Only after the news spread out and the chosen from the various sects and clans joined forces, could they open the vital energy day and night. The white-haired old man from before sighed. When the geniuses of the various factions arrive, we won't have a chance. No matter what, we have to give it a try. I'll do it next. An old woman stepped forward and poured her divine energy into the origin energy day and night, unwilling to give up. This old woman was the strongest and she managed to stimulate 6 origin energy pillars, but it was still a drop in the bucket. The others were unwilling to give up either. They stepped forward and poured their divine energy into the origin energy day and night. Origin energy pillars flew out like dancing snakes. However, some of the 5th-level celestial gods managed to stimulate even fewer origin energy pillars. Some only had 2 while others only had 1. Not long after 80 of the 81 people had made their moves. Only Lu Ming had yet to make his move. The 80 people only had 251 origin energy day and night. It was 748 origin energy day and night to reach 999. Chapter 2888. Everyone's expression turned ugly. Sigh, it's still not enough. Only 251, the difference is too big. The Heart of Desolation is not fated with us. I guess only the joint efforts of many geniuses can open the morning and evening pillar. Many people sighed. Some glanced at Lu Ming and directly ignored him. There was still Lu Ming who had not made a move, but the crowd no longer held any hope. Lu Ming was a true immortal realm cultivator. It was already a miracle that he could reach this point. It was already not bad if he could stimulate 1 morning and evening pillar. Even if Lu Ming was young and had good talent, there were still more than 700 morning and evening pillars. There was no hope. Forget it. Someone shook his head and withdrew his divine power, retreating a dozen steps. Following that, the others also shook their heads and withdrew their divine power. The morning and evening pillars also disappeared. However, no one left because they were unwilling to accept this result. This is interesting. I wonder how many morning and evening pillars I can stimulate if I go up? Lu Ming pondered in his heart, revealing a trace of interest, and then stepped forward. When Lu Ming moved, many people's gazes turned to Lu Ming. This kid still wants to go up. We all failed, but he still wants to go up. Is he stupid? But speaking of which, it's not easy for this kid to reach this point with his true immortal realm cultivation. He might be a genius. Even if he's a genius, how many morning and evening pillars can he stimulate? 10, 20, even if he can stimulate 100, it's useless. That's right. Guess how many morning and evening pillars this kid can stimulate? How many? This kid is so young and has such cultivation. He can still reach this point. His talent is definitely not weak. I'm guessing he can stimulate at least 10 morning and evening pillars. 10, maybe more. I'm guessing between 20 to 30. 20 to 30? That's too exaggerated. You have to know that we can only get 6 morning and evening pillars at most. Everyone discussed and began to guess how many morning and evening pillars Lu Ming could stimulate. As for Lu Ming, he had already walked to the morning and evening pillars. He stretched out a palm and placed it on the morning and evening pillars. His divine power slowly poured into the morning and evening pillars. The vital chi morning and evening suddenly vibrated violently. Then pillars of vital chi formed and danced in the air. 36 snakes. In the instant that Lu Ming poured in his divine power, Lu Ming activated 36 pillars of vital chi. So much. Everyone else was stunned. Just now, some people had guessed that Lu Ming could trigger between 20 to 30, but some people felt that they had guessed too much. It would be very difficult for Lu Ming to do so. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming had only attacked for an instant, and Lu Ming had already stimulated 36 origin chi pillars. However, this did not stop. Following that, the vital energy vibrations became even more intense, producing loud rumbling sounds like the waves of a vast ocean. Hua more origin chi pillars shot out from the origin chi morning and evening. This time there were 360 of them. In addition to the previous 36, there were a total of 396. The sound of people inhaling cold air could be heard. Everyone's eyes were about to explode and they were tongue-tied. 396. Everyone looked at the 399 pillars of origin chi dancing in the air, thinking that they were dreaming. Heavens, a total of 396. How is this possible? How is this possible? How is he able to stimulate so many origin chi pillars? Unbelievable, a monster, a monster. This person is a peerless genius. If there were 3 of such people, they would be able to break through the origin chi morning and evening. Some people shouted in shock. The pillar of vitality that Lu Ming alone could activate was more than the pillar of vitality that the 80 of them could activate together. However, their shock was far from over. Dong dong dong, at this moment, Lu Ming's ancient god heart began to beat. Waves of ancient god aura poured into Lu Ming's palm and into the origin chi morning and evening. The origin chi morning and evening began to vibrate again. Following that, more origin chi pillars flew out. This time, more than 300 origin chi pillars were formed. In total, there were 700 origin chi pillars. There's more. The others were completely dumbfounded and stood there in a daze. 700 origin chi pillars? A total of 700 origin chi pillars. In history, the strongest genius could only stimulate more than 100 origin chi pillars, but Lu Ming had stimulated 700. How was this possible? How could there be such a strong genius in the world? The other 80 people thought that they had seen the world, but at this moment, they all felt that they were country bumpkins, people who had never seen the world before. 700 origin chi pillars, this should be the limit. The white-haired old man swallowed hard. His eyes were wide open and his heart was thumping. However, in the next moment he almost fell to the ground. That was because the origin chi morning and evening had not stopped vibrating. Instead, it vibrated even more violently. Could it be that he can stimulate more origin chi pillars? Some people said in a hoarse voice. 700 origin chi pillars are not enough. Let's try the battle formula. Lu Ming's eyes flashed a ray of light, and then he began to activate the battle formula. Lu Ming's understanding of the battle formula was getting more and more profound. Now, the success rate of activating the battle formula to quadruple his combat strength had reached 50%. Lu Ming's body was filled with a strong fighting spirit, and a powerful force burst out from his body. Rumble. The origin chi morning and evening vibrated even more violently. Then more origin chi pillars rushed out. This time, hundreds of origin chi pillars rushed out, and the sky was filled with origin chi pillars. The number of origin chi pillars reached a total of 999. The number of origin chi pillars needed to activate the origin chi morning and evening was 999. Oh my god, he alone activated 999 origin chi pillars. This is too shocking. Unbelievable. Everyone at the scene was almost scared to death. At this moment, the origin chi morning and evening vibrated violently, rolling up waves of origin chi that filled the sky. There was a terrifying explosion, and cracks appeared on the origin chi morning and evening. It's going to open, the origin chi morning and evening is going to open. The heart of desolation is going to be born. Many people shouted, and their eyes were burning with passion. This time it was really out of everyone's expectations. They originally thought that it was impossible to open the origin chi morning and that they would have to wait for the news to spread out, and the geniuses of the major forces in Xintian star field would gather to open it. They never thought that it would open now. Aha, the heart of desolation is destined to be mine. A 7th-level heavenly god expert roared in his heart, and his eyes were burning with passion. Although Lu Ming had activated 999 primordial chi pillars, in his opinion, Lu Ming was only talented. Lu Ming's cultivation level and combat strength were nothing in his eyes. Chapter 2889. In fact, it wasn't just this 7th-layer heavenly god who thought so, the others thought so too. They had to admit that Lu Ming's talent was unparalleled. It was simply unheard of. However, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the true god realm after all. Talent didn't mean strength, so they didn't take him seriously at all. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the heart of desolation, waiting for the moment when the heart of desolation would collapse. Boom. Finally, the heart of desolation exploded with a loud bang, turning into endless chi and dissipating in the air. The heart of desolation is mine. A 7th-layer heavenly god expert roared and pounced at the heart of desolation. Get lost, the heart of desolation is mine. Kill. The others roared and pounced at the heart of desolation with bloodshot eyes. Those who could make it this far were at least 5th-layer heavenly gods with shocking fighting strength. A total of 80 people pounced at the heart of desolation. A chaotic battle began. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone fought fiercely. All 80 people wanted to get the heart of desolation. Once someone got close to the heart of desolation, they would be surrounded and attacked by the others. As soon as the battle began, some people fell and were killed here. A few screams were heard as a few 5th-layer heavenly gods were killed. However, no one retreated. They continued to attack the heart of desolation. The heart of desolation was something that even divine kings would be tempted to fight for. One could imagine how valuable it was. How could an ordinary cultivator resist such a temptation? Everyone ignored Lu Ming. No one thought that Lu Ming was a threat. Lu Ming stood at the side with a smile. He withdrew his divine force and didn't make a move. He wanted to reap the benefits while the tigers fought. The battle became more and more intense. Some of the weaker cultivators were killed one after another. Finally, some of them were scared. They retreated out of the battlefield with fear on their faces. Only some 6th-layer and 7th-layer heavenly gods were left fighting and competing. However, no one could get close to the heart of desolation. This battle lasted for half a day, but no one had obtained the heart of desolation. In the end, the fighting stopped. The most powerful group of experts stopped at the 4 sides of the heart of chaos, facing each other, breathing heavily. It was clear that the consumption was extremely severe. After this battle, of the original 80 people, only 40 or so remained. Nearly half of them had died here. The remaining people faced each other and stared at each other. For a moment, no one dared to make the first move. They all knew that whoever made the first move would be besieged by the others. No one could guarantee that they would be able to escape unscathed under the siege of others. It's about time. At this moment, Lu Ming muttered. Then he stepped forward. Step by step, he walked towards the heart of desolation. What is this brat trying to do? Many people's eyes were focused on Lu Ming. Some of them had cold, murderous intent in their eyes. Could it be that this kid is trying to claim the heart of chaos? You're courting death. Cold light flashed in the eyes of some people. Brat, stop. Someone shouted. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He continued to walk forward, not bothering to pay attention to that person. Brat, you're courting death. That person roared and slashed at Lu Ming with his saber. This person was a 6th-level heavenly god. However, he was already injured in the battle just now. Moreover, his divine power was severely depleted. His combat strength had weakened a lot. He was even weaker than a 5th-level heavenly god. Get lost. Lu Ming shouted and attacked with all his might. His spear lashed out at that person. Boom. The two of them clashed, causing a loud explosion. Lu Ming's figure only swayed a little while the other party's body shook violently and retreated continuously. This brat? Many people's eyes narrowed, revealing a look of surprise. Lu Ming's combat strength had exceeded their expectations. Although that person's combat strength had weakened a lot, it was still not to be underestimated. Lu Ming was only a true God realm cultivator, but he could actually force such an expert to retreat. No wonder he could reach here. Many people had such a thought in their minds. After Lu Ming forced that person back, he continued to rush toward the heart of desolation. "Brat, you have some strength, but it's still not enough," an old woman shouted coldly. She stretched out her withered hand and clawed at Lu Ming. A withered claw rapidly enlarged, emitting a disgusting smell, and grabbed at Lu Ming. This old woman was a 7th-level heavenly god. Previously she had activated 6 pillars of vitality. Her strength was extremely shocking. Even though her divine power was severely depleted, once she attacked, her strength was extremely terrifying. However, Lu Ming was not afraid at all. Ancient God Body. Lu Ming's heart stirred as he unleashed the ancient god tactic. His body expanded rapidly. This time Lu Ming did not hold back. He used his full strength. He turned into a 200-meter-tall green-armored ancient god and let out an ancient god roar. With a loud roar, Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear. The withered old woman's palm was directly pierced by Lu Ming. The old woman let out a sharp scream and stretched her hand back. Her face was pale and blood flowed from her palm. The others were shocked. The old woman's strength was extremely terrifying. Although she had consumed some of her energy, it was still very terrifying. She was actually injured by Lu Ming's spear. A true God Realm person's combat strength was actually so terrifying? After repelling the old woman, Lu Ming's figure flashed and rushed toward the Heart of Desolation. He wants to take the Heart of Desolation. Let's attack together and kill this person. The old woman shouted. A powerful aura erupted from her body as she attacked Lu Ming. At the same time, the other experts also attacked Lu Ming. There were more than a dozen 7th-level heavenly gods and many 6th-level heavenly gods. With so many people attacking together, the power was shocking. Courting death. Lu Ming shouted coldly. A layer of crimson gold armor appeared on his huge body. Then 9 ice chains flew out and surrounded him. Lu Ming first set up layers of defense, then attacked the old woman. Boom. Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear. A spear light pierced toward the old woman. Lu Ming was now able to suppress the Paragon Saint with his full strength. Although the Paragon Saint's cultivation was only 6th-level heavenly god, his combat strength was strong enough to kill a 7th-level heavenly god. He was probably stronger than the old woman. And Lu Ming could suppress the Paragon Saint. Naturally, dealing with the old woman was not a problem. Moreover, the old woman's divine energy was severely depleted. The spear light directly shattered the old woman's attack. The old woman screamed and spat out a large mouthful of blood. She quickly retreated. At this moment, the others' attacks also landed on Lu Ming's body. The 9 ice chains and the crimson gold armor shook a few times before exploding. Then they landed on Lu Ming's green scales. However, the green scales' defense was shocking. They successfully blocked the others' attacks. Chapter 2890. The green scales on the ancient god body had incredible defensive power. Although the experts had destroyed Lu Ming's ice chains and 9 layers scarlet gold armor, they hadn't been able to break through the green scales. Although some of the scales had broken and blood had seeped out of his body, Lu Ming had still managed to block them. Lu Ming had a rough idea of his own defensive power. Kill? Lu Ming roared, no longer caring about his own defense. He brandished his spear and attacked the old woman. The old woman had already been heavily injured by Lu Ming and didn't have the strength to fight back. She frantically retreated, screaming, "Save me! Save me!" However, Lu Ming had forcefully endured the attacks of the others. It was too late for the others to save her. Bang! The spear stabbed out and a huge spear light crushed the old woman. In front of the spear light, the old woman's body was as small as an ant. She directly exploded, turning into ashes. A 7th-level celestial god expert was killed by Lu Ming just like that. After killing the old woman, Lu Ming's spear changed direction, and he attacked the others. While attacking the others, Lu Ming's body constantly flashed with all kinds of light. 9 layers scarlet gold armor, ice chains, and even 3 divine dragon manifestations. Lu Ming didn't use these divine skills and secret arts to attack, but to defend. Boom, boom, boom. One attack after another landed on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body shook, and the ice chains, 9 layers scarlet gold armor, and divine dragon manifestations all collapsed. However, the power of the attacks that landed on Lu Ming's body was much weaker. They were all blocked by Lu Ming. Lu Ming seemed to be dripping with blood, but his vital organs were not injured. Lu Ming blocked the attacks of the others, but the others couldn't block Lu Ming's attacks. Lu Ming specifically targeted a 7th level heavenly god and launched a fierce attack. Soon, this person followed in the footsteps of the old woman and was killed by Lu Ming. After killing 2 7th level heavenly gods consecutively, the others were finally a little scared. Their eyes were filled with fear. Some of them even slowed down their attacks, planning to flee the moment something went wrong. As for Lu Ming, the more he fought, the more courageous he became. His battle intent soared to the heavens, and a terrifying spear light constantly pierced and swept out. Not long after, another 2 people were killed. Not good. Retreat. Some people were terrified. When they saw Lu Ming charging over, they didn't dare to fight back. They retreated continuously, afraid that they would be targeted by Lu Ming. Whoosh. Lu Ming didn't chase after them. His figure flickered as he rushed towards the Heart of Desolation. When he got close to the Heart of Desolation, no one dared to compete with him. Lu Ming grabbed the Heart of Desolation and put it into his spatial ring. Damn it. Damn it, my Heart of Desolation. Many people roared in their hearts as they watched Lu Ming take the Heart of Desolation. They were envious to death, but no one dared to stop him. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. The main thing was that his defense was too abnormal. They couldn't break through Lu Ming's defense, so they couldn't deal a fatal blow to Lu Ming. If it was someone else with similar offensive strength as Lu Ming, but without such a strong defense, they definitely wouldn't be a match for so many of them. They would have been killed by their combined attacks. Unfortunately, after Lu Ming transformed into his ancient god body, his defense was too abnormal. It was enough to block their attacks and then chase after one of them. This terrified them. The Heart of Desolation is finally mine. Lu Ming's lips curled into a faint smile, and then he rushed in the direction he came from. Wherever Lu Ming went, no one stopped him. Although the Heart of Desolation was precious, it was far inferior to one's own life. Lu Ming left this place unimpeded and arrived outside. Outside, many people swept their gazes toward Lu Ming, looking suspicious. You came out? What's the situation inside? Did anyone get the Heart of Desolation? You seem to be heavily injured. You must have been seriously injured and withdrawn from the competition, right? Many people saw that Lu Ming was the first one to come out, and immediately asked all at once. Yes, they were competing for the Heart of Desolation. There was a huge battle going on inside. My cultivation was too weak, so I couldn't defeat them. I was lucky to survive. Lu Ming said. Everyone nodded, believing that Lu Ming was telling the truth. No one doubted that Lu Ming had obtained the Heart of Desolation. Therefore no one doubted Lu Ming. Lu Ming left this place unimpeded and headed out of the Desolation mountain range. Ah, Lu Ming, your luck is really good. You didn't get the Desolation grass, but you actually got the Heart of Desolation. If you use the Heart of Desolation to refine an array disc, its power will be even more shocking. At that time, you will have a greater chance of defeating the Dragon Mountain. In Lu Ming's Sea of Consciousness, Guillemot laughed heartily, lamenting Lu Ming's luck. Lu Ming was also quite happy. Now he had found all the things that Guillemot said. Now he could return to the Kongshen school and refine the array disc. The Dragon Mountain wanted to sacrifice him to break the Rising Dragon formation, but it wasn't that easy. Not long after, Lu Ming left the Desolation Mountain range. After spending some time, he returned to the Kongshen school. After returning to the Kongshen school, Lu Ming found Ouyang Qingxiang. Lu Ming, you want to see my grandfather? Ouyang Qingxiang asked in surprise. Yes, I have something to ask Senior Yu for help. Lu Ming nodded. The array disc that Guillemot mentioned was incomparably mysterious. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, it was impossible for him to refine it. If he wanted to fully refine it and display its power, only a divine king could do it. However, it was easier said than done to ask a divine king for help. Therefore, Lu Ming immediately thought of Ouyang Qingxiang's grandfather, Yu Wuya. Lu Ming had helped Ouyang Qingxiang obtain the position of Zongzi of the Kongshen school. Yu Wuya had no reason to reject Lu Ming. Asking my grandfather for help is a small matter. Come with me. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded and led Lu Ming to Yu Wuya's cultivation area. When they arrived at Yu Wuya's cultivation area, Lu Ming waited outside while Ouyang Qingxiang went in to look for Yu Wuya. Not long after, Ouyang Qingxiang came out with a smile on her face and said, Lu Ming, my grandfather just came out of seclusion. I'll bring you to see him. Lu Ming nodded and followed Ouyang Qingxiang to a large hall to see Yu Wuya. Junior Lu Ming greets Senior Yu. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed. After all, Yu Wuya was a divine king expert, a top expert of the Qintian star field. Lu Ming, no need to be so polite. Sit. Yu Wuya smiled and invited Lu Ming to take a seat. Lu Ming had helped Ouyang Qingxiang obtain the position of Zongzi. Yu Wuya's impression of Lu Ming was extremely good. The more he looked at Lu Ming, the more pleasing he was to the eye. He was even thinking of how to matchmake Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. This way, Ouyang Qingxiang's position in the Kongxian school would be as stable as Mount Tai. Therefore he was very polite to Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang sat down and someone came to brew tea. Chapter 2891. Yu Wuya picked up the teacup and took a sip. His gaze fell on Lu Ming again as he asked, "I heard from Qingxiang that you have something you need my help with?" "Yes, Senior Yu. I want to refine a kind of array disc, but my cultivation is too low and I can't refine it. Only a Divine King expert can refine it, so I thought of you, Senior." Lu Ming did not hide and directly told him his purpose. "What array disc? It needs a Divine King to refine it?" Yu Wuya was also interested. "Senior, please take a look." Lu Ming took out a jade talisman and waved his hand. The jade talisman flew to Yu Wuya. Yu Wuya caught it in his hand and scanned it with his spiritual consciousness, reading the contents of the jade talisman. After a while, Yu Wuya revealed a look of surprise and said, "What a mysterious array disc. The refining method of such an array disc is really unheard of. Amazing, amazing. No wonder you can't refine it with your cultivation." "Ah, don't you know who gave the array disc? How can the array disc given by me be bad?" Bone Demon's smug voice sounded. "Senior, this is something I found by chance when exploring a ruin. May I ask if you can refine it?" Lu Ming asked. "I can refine it, but some of the materials needed to refine this array disc are rather rare. Even I can't gather them in a short time." Yu Wuya said. "Senior, the materials are not a problem. I've already gathered them." After Lu Ming finished speaking, he took out the materials needed to refine the array disc one by one. The Heart of Desolation. "Lu Ming, you actually have the Heart of Desolation?" When he saw Lu Ming take out the Heart of Desolation, Yu Wuya was shocked. Lu Ming's weight in his heart increased a little. This junior was lucky enough to obtain it. Lu Ming said humbly. Yu Wuya smiled, knowing that Lu Ming was being modest. If he was lucky enough to obtain it, then why couldn't others obtain it? "Lu Ming, since the materials have been prepared, this old man can begin the refinement. However, it will take a few months to complete the refinement. Once the refinement is complete, I will send someone to inform you," Yu Wuya said. "Thank you, Senior. Junior has another request. I hope that Senior won't tell anyone else about this disc array, especially other God Kings," Lu Ming said. If news of the disc array were to spread to Dragon Zhoushan, or if Dragon Zhoushan were to see it, it would definitely raise the guard of Dragon Zhoushan. Yu Wuya glanced at Lu Ming in surprise. He did not understand why Lu Ming did not dare to let the other God Kings know. However, he did not ask any further. He nodded and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely not let a second person know." "Thank you, Senior." Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks and then left with Ouyang Qingxiang. He would be able to refine it in a few months. There was enough time. Long Haoshan had given Lu Ming 10 years of time. Returning to his residence, Lu Ming cultivated in peace. In a blink of an eye, several months passed. Yu Wuya had already finished refining the disc array and had Ouyang Qingxiang bring it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief, feeling much more confident. Cultivating like this is too slow. It's impossible to break through to the heavenly god realm in 10 years. On this day, Lu Ming ended his cultivation and pondered with a frown on his face. There was a huge chasm between the peak 9th level true god realm and the heavenly god realm. It was too difficult to break through. 99% of people were forever stuck at the peak true god realm, unable to break through. Only those with outstanding talent could break through after a long period of accumulation or some fortuitous encounter. Therefore, those who could break through to the heavenly god realm were mostly geniuses with king-grade divine force. The higher the grade of divine force, the easier it was to break through. Those with ordinary divine force would find it difficult to break through to the heavenly god realm. Of course, it wasn't absolute. There were those with ordinary divine force who broke through to the heavenly god realm, but those were the minority. However, no matter how high the grade of divine force they controlled was, it was very difficult for them to break through to the heavenly god realm in 10 years after breaking through to the peak 9th level true god realm. Lu Ming frowned. He didn't doubt that if he couldn't break through to the heavenly god realm in 10 years, Long Haoshan would really make a move on him. Lu Ming was still thinking about what method he could find to let his cultivation break through quickly. At this time, Lu Ming's heart shook. He felt that someone was coming from outside the courtyard. Lu Ming walked out of the courtyard and saw a white-haired old man standing in the air. Holy Son Lu Ming. The white-haired old man smiled and nodded in greeting. Elder Lu, why are you looking for me? Lu Ming asked. Lu Ming recognized this white-haired old man. He was an inner sect elder. The sect master has ordered to gather all the holy sons and holy daughters. He has a mission for you. Elder Lu said. A mission? And all the holy sons and holy daughters? What mission is it? Lu Ming asked curiously. To be honest, I also don't know. I'm only in charge of passing on the message. Holy son Lu Ming, follow me. Later, a grand elder will tell you. Elder Lu said courteously. Then Lu Ming followed Elder Lu into the depths of the inner sect. Soon the two of them arrived at the peak of a mountain. Everyone's here. Lu Ming swept his gaze across and discovered that the Paragon Saint, Saint Son of Floating Light, Saint Son of Flaming Sky, Saint Son of Jixia, Ouyang Qingxiang, and Saintess Shuatan were all present at the peak of the mountain. Seeing Lu Ming arrive, everyone's gaze fell on Lu Ming, especially the Supreme Holy Son. A cold light flashed in his eyes, revealing a wisp of killing intent. But it was only a flash before he hit it. However, Lu Ming's spiritual perception was extremely sharp. He clearly caught it. You want to kill me? You better not give me the chance. A wisp of killing intent also flashed in Lu Ming's heart. Clearly, the Supreme Holy Son had lost to Lu Ming last time and harbored a grudge against Lu Ming. He wanted to kill Lu Ming. If there was a chance, Lu Ming wouldn't be lenient toward such a person. He would find a chance to get rid of him. His gaze swept past the Supreme Holy Son, Fuko Seiko, and the others before landing on the old man at the front. Senior Elder. Lu Ming's heart shook. From this old man's clothes, Lu Ming knew he was a senior elder of the Kongshin School's Senior Elder Hall. He was in existence at the Divine King Realm. Elder Lu landed in front of Senior Elder Hall and respectfully bowed. Senior Elder Hall, Holy Son Lu Ming has arrived. All right, you can leave, said Senior Elder Lu indifferently. Then Elder Lu respectfully left. Only Lu Ming, the Holy Sons, and Senior Elder Hall were left on the mountain peak. You must be very curious as to what mission I've gathered you for this time, right? Said Senior Elder Hall with a faint smile. That's right. Senior Elder Fan, may I know why you've gathered us all together? The Paragon Saint was the first to ask. There is indeed a major matter that requires you all to work together. The location is in Dark Light Galaxy. As for the specifics, there's no need to rush. Come with me. Once we reach Dark Light Galaxy, I'll naturally tell you. Let's go. After Senior Elder Fan finished speaking, he walked in the direction of the transportation formation. Everyone could only follow Grand Elder Fan into the teleportation array with their doubts. Chapter 2892. Dim Light Star River was an extremely remote star river in the Qingtian star field. It was even more remote than the chaotic star river. That was because there were very few living beings in this star river. Cultivators were even rarer, and those who had become gods were few and far between. Therefore, very few people would come here. Every major force would symbolically set up a teleportation point in Dim Ice Star River and send a few people to guard it. Through the teleportation array, Lu Ming's group arrived at the teleportation point. Then, with a wave of Grand Elder Fan's hand, a surge of divine force shrouded them and brought them into the starry sky. Their speed was extremely fast. What astonishing speed! Lu Ming looked at the stars flying past one after another and exclaimed in his heart. The speed of a God King expert was too fast. Shuttling through the starry sky was even faster than most of the space battleships. In fact, after reaching the God King realm, there was almost no need for space battleships. Unless it was a rare and astonishingly high-grade space battleship, the average space battleship's speed wouldn't be comparable to a God King's flying speed. Half a day later, in the starry sky ahead, a dazzling radiance suddenly shone. Rings of radiance appeared in the starry sky ahead. They were extremely dazzling, even brighter than the stars, illuminating the starry sky. Lu Ming's group came to a halt. That is, everyone looked in front of them in shock. Because those rings of radiance were too big. They were many times bigger than a life planet. This is our target for this trip. There's a star system in front of us. Grand Elder Fan explained. Everyone looked over and saw that there was indeed a star system in front of them. The core of this star system was a star. However, this star's radiance was extremely dim, as if it would extinguish at any moment. Around this star, there were about a dozen planets revolving around it. Those rings of radiance were emitted from this star system. One could imagine how big it was. Boom, boom. At this moment, terrifying rumbles erupted from the periphery of the star system. Dazzling divine light illuminated the starry sky. The terrifying explosion shook the entire star system. There are experts attacking that star system. Ouyang Qingxiang exclaimed. That's right. There are indeed experts attacking this star system. They are the sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and some God King Grand Elders. Grand Elder Fan explained. Lu Ming and the others were even more surprised. The patriarchs of the Qin Tian 13 sects had arrived. There were also some divine king eminent elders who were besieging this galaxy. What was in this galaxy? Let me tell you, this entire galaxy has been set up with a great formation. Those rings of light are the light of the great formation. Even the sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and the divine king experts could not break through it. Grand Elder Fan explained. Set up the formation with the stars. Lu Ming and the others were dumbfounded. Just how big was a galaxy? Someone had actually laid down a formation over the entire galaxy. Just how terrifying was that? It was truly astonishing. Grand Elder Fan, what exactly is inside this great array? It actually drew over the 13 Sky Pillar sects. Besides that, what does this have to do with us? The Paragon Saint asked. The patriarchs of the Qin Tian 13 sects and some God King doyens were here. What did that have to do with them? With their cultivation, there was no way they could interfere at all. Don't be anxious. This matter needs to be explained from the beginning. Grand Elder Fan then explained the ins and outs of the matter in detail. Usually, no one would pay attention to the dim light galaxy and almost no one would come here. But a few months ago, someone had accidentally discovered that this galaxy was extremely strange. After some investigation, they discovered that this galaxy had actually been set up with a great formation. This kind of great formation quickly alarmed the upper echelons of the Qin Tian 13 sects. The Qin Tian 13 sects immediately sent experts who were proficient in formations to study it. In the end, they came up with a shocking conclusion. In the distant past, someone had set up a great formation over the entire galaxy with a star as the core. Their goal was to refine a star core. To refine an entire star into a star core. When this news came out, it shocked most of the God King experts of the Qin Tian 13 sects. That was because once a cultivator reached the God King realm, they would have to refine a star core. When a heavenly god broke through to the God King realm, the divine flame in their body would turn into a star core. A star core was the core of a star. It condensed boundless power. However, a God King star core was extremely weak and small. It couldn't be compared to a star's star core. Someone actually wanted to refine an entire star into a star core. A star core refined from an entire star was definitely a priceless treasure. If a God King could obtain it, his cultivation base would definitely soar. Furthermore, a formation grandmaster had already come up with the conclusion that this great formation had been set up for a very long time. The star had practically been refined, so the star core had already been successfully refined. It would be strange if those God Kings weren't moved. If they obtained the star core, their cultivation bases would soar and they would be able to suppress other God Kings and dominate the Qin Tian starfield. That was why the sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and many other God Kings had come to fight for the star core. However, they had been blocked by the galaxy's great formation. After a few months of attacks, many experts had been unable to break through the great formation and enter the galaxy. Through the research of many formation grandmasters, they had come up with the conclusion that only the younger generation's geniuses could enter this galaxy. That was because the great formation had been specially set up. When one's age exceeded a certain limit, it was impossible to enter. That was why they had gathered all of them. It's not just us from the Kongshan school. The top geniuses from the other forces have also been gathered. However, the various sect masters and God Kings are still unwilling to give up. They want to make one last attempt to see if they can break through this great formation. Grand Elder Fan explained. Lu Ming and the rest were enlightened. They finally knew what had happened. Ahead of them were the various sect masters and God King realm Grand Elders' final attempt to break through the formation. If they still couldn't break through, they would probably have to send their younger generation's geniuses. It was no wonder that all the saints and saintesses had been gathered. It was because they might have to compete with the top geniuses from the other forces, or even the top 3 overlord forces. Boom, boom. In the starry sky ahead, the rumbling sounds were still incessant as dazzling lights flashed. All of you follow me. Grand Elder Fan led Lu Ming and the rest forward. Swoosh, swoosh. At that moment, streams of light flew over from other directions. Lu Ming and the rest looked around and saw that every stream of light was a figure. There was a God King realm expert leading a group of young people. Obviously, These were the experts from the other forces who had brought their young geniuses over. After flying for a while, they stopped not far away from the galaxy. Chapter 2893. Other than Lu Ming and the others, there were other people in this area. There were a total of 13 batches, and each batch had some young people. The prodigies of the Qin Tian 13 sects had all arrived. Among them, the three overlord forces, the Mystic Academy, the Invincible Kenzo, and the Immeasurable Sacred Ground, had the most people. Each of them had a strong aura, and their eyes were filled with powerful auras. It was obvious that they were all experts, and each of them was a saint. However, there were some sects that were much more shabby. Although they had a lot of people, and some sects even had more people than the Profound Sky sect, there were very few Holy Sun level characters. Some powers only had 1 or 2 Holy Sun level characters, while the others weren't Holy Sun level characters at all. They were far inferior to Holy Sun level characters. The prodigies of the Qin Tian 13 sects were sizing each other up. Ji Qingquan, I heard that you were defeated in the Kongshan School's Zongzi competition. Ah, you're really a piece of trash. At this moment, a loud laugh was heard. It came from the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming and the rest looked in the direction of the voice. Someone from the multi-eyed race. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The person who had spoken just now had 4 eyes on his face. There were 2 eyes on each side, and all 4 eyes were shining with a cold light. This was the multi-eyed race, also known as the 4-eyed race. Like the 3-eyed race, they belonged to the multi-eyed race. 4-eyed emptiness, what did you say? The Paragon Saint's face was extremely cold as he stared at this person. This person's name was 4-eyed emptiness. What? Did I say something wrong? I heard that you were defeated by a new disciple of the Kongshan School. If you're not a piece of trash, then what are you? To think that you used to be as famous as me. How disgusting. 4-eyed emptiness sneered, his face full of disdain. Haha, 4-eyed emptiness, you're right. Ji Qingquan, you're really a piece of trash. Someone from the Invincible Kenzo and the Immeasurable Sacred Ground sneered disdainfully. This made the Paragon Saint's face turn even uglier. Lu Ming. The Paragon Saint roared in his heart. This was a great humiliation to him, and he blamed this humiliation on Lu Ming. It was all Lu Ming's fault. If it weren't for Lu Ming, he wouldn't have suffered such humiliation. Lu Ming, there are some people in the 3 major forces that you have to pay attention to. That 4-eyed Empyrean is someone who is as famous as the Sovereign Holy Sun. He is extremely talented and has great combat strength. I'm afraid he is even stronger than the Sovereign Holy Sun. Ouyang Qingxiang transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. There's also the Invincible Kenzo and the Immeasurable Sacred Ground. Each and every one of them is extremely terrifying. Ouyang Qingxiang continued to transmit her voice to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded and asked, I heard that there are divine sons in the 3 overlords. Where are their divine sons? Did they not come? They're all here. Ouyang Qingxiang said, Do you see that cold-faced bald youth in the Mystic Academy? That's the Mystic Academy's divine son, Mo Jiu. Lu Ming looked in the direction Ouyang Qingxiang was pointing. Indeed, he saw a bald youth in the Mystic Academy's crowd. This person's appearance was ordinary, and his aura was restrained. Standing in the crowd, it was easy to overlook him. Lu Ming hadn't paid much attention to this person before. He hadn't expected this person to be the Mystic Academy's divine son, a peerless genius who controlled divine-grade divine force. As if sensing Lu Ming's gaze, Mo Jiu also looked at Lu Ming. A pitch-black light flashed in his eyes, and it shot towards Lu Ming like a sharp blade. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed and he felt a stabbing pain in his eyes. He quickly circulated his energy to block it. This person is very terrifying. Lu Ming came to a conclusion. Mo Jiu stared at Lu Ming, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. The corners of his mouth curled into a sneer. His lips moved slightly and a voice suddenly rang in Lu Ming's ears. Lu Ming, in the ancient god's world, you killed the Mystic Academy's divine son. This is a great crime and I will make you pay with your life. Mo Jiuye's voice was cold and merciless, and it was filled with terrifying killing intent. You want to kill me? I'm afraid you don't have the ability to do so. Lu Ming replied forcefully. You're very confident. Just you wait. Mo Jiuye said coldly, and then he didn't say anything else. Ouyang Qingxiang didn't know that Lu Ming and Mo Jiuye had already talked in secret, so she continued to introduce to Lu Ming. The young man in white from the Invincible Kenzo is the Invincible Kenzo's divine son, and the sword in his hand is extremely terrifying. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming's gaze shifted from Mo Yi to the young man in white from the invincible Kenzo. This person was called Sword Dao Wuji and he was extremely handsome. His entire body exuded a terrifying sword intent that no one could ignore. Another terrifying genius. Lu Ming thought to himself. Sword Dao Wuji's gaze also looked at Lu Ming, and a cold smile appeared on his face. His eyes were like two divine swords, emitting a terrifying sword intent. Even the other invincible Kenzoist prodigies standing beside him paled, and they quickly moved away from him to avoid being injured by his sword intent. The burly young man in red armor from the boundless sacred ground is called Song Yen Pejuan, and he's the divine son of the boundless sacred ground. Ouyang Qingxiang introduced. Lu Ming's gaze shifted over again. It was a young man who was close to 3 meters tall. He was abnormally burly, and he wore a thick red armor that gave off a powerful pressure. The pressure that this person gave off wasn't any weaker than Sword Dao Wuji or Mo Yi. He was also a terrifying genius. Lu Ming memorized the names of these 3 people. There were many prodigies from the Qingtian 13 sects, but only these 3 people made Lu Ming feel threatened. He didn't care about the others. Boom, boom. Just as everyone was sizing each other up, the explosions in front of them became even more intense. Rings of dazzling light could be seen flickering around the galaxy, blocking the terrifying attacks. After a while those attacks stopped. Then rays of light began to fly over. The sect masters of the Qingtian 13 sects and the other divine king experts had finished breaking the formation and returned. In the next moment, 5 figures appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. The person in the lead was the Kongshan School's sect master, Dragon Zhoushan. The other 4 were the founding elders of the Kongshan School, and they were all divine king experts. Dragon Zhoushan and the other 4's auras were a little unstable. It was obvious that breaking the formation had consumed a lot of energy. Sect master, how is it? Still can't break it? Founding Elder Fan asked. It can't be broken. Dragon Zhoushan shook his head, and then his gaze fell on Lu Ming and the others. It's up to you now. Don't worry, Sect Master. I'll do my best to help you get the Stellar Core. The Supreme Saint hurriedly said. Dragon Zhoushan waved his hand and said, There's no need for you to get the Stellar Core. With your cultivation you won't be able to get the Stellar Core. According to the predictions of the Array Masters, there are some array plates in this galaxy. Chapter 2894. That's right. The person who set up the array did not completely seal off Lu Ming. When he set up the array there was still a possibility, and that was the array plate. According to the speculation of a few array masters, there should be 12 array plates in the galaxy. As long as we have the array plates, we can enter the galaxy unimpeded and obtain the star core. Therefore your mission this time is to enter the galaxy and find the array plates. At least you must obtain one. Long Zhoushan said. Don't worry, sect leader. I will do my best. Even if I have to risk my life, I will obtain one of the array plates. The Supreme Holy Sun was the first to speak again. The mission this time isn't going to be easy. The other factions have sent out all their geniuses. Therefore the mission I'm giving you is a formation badge, at least one. Of course, the more the better. Also, those array plates are scattered on different planets in the galaxy. It won't be that easy to find them. Long Zhoushan said. Lu Ming and the others were silent as they began to ponder. It seems that the star core is very important to Long Haoshan. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. However, although entering that galaxy this time will be dangerous for you, it will also be an opportunity. Countless years ago, an almighty set up a formation here to refine a star into a star core. Now that the star core has been formed, some other treasures will also appear in the galaxy. For example, some extremely precious materials for refining weapons. Maybe even fragments of the star core will appear. Long Zhoushan said. Star core fragments? Lu Ming, the Supreme Holy Sun, Ouyang Qingxiang and the others' eyes lit up. That's right. Star core fragments. After all, they are refining the star into a star core. It is very likely that some star core fragments will appear during the refining process. If you can obtain the star core fragments, it will be a great opportunity for you. Long Zhoushan said. This made Lu Ming and the others even more excited. Lu Ming, this is also a great opportunity for you. If you can get some star core fragments, you will have a great chance to break through to the celestial god realm. You have to seize this opportunity. You only have 10 years. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. Long Haoshan's cold voice sounded in Lu Ming's ears. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes, but he didn't say anything. Long Zhoushan did not have good intentions when he reminded Lu Ming. He wanted Lu Ming to break through to the heavenly god realm so that he could use him to break through the rising dragon formation. Of course, Lu Ming was also very interested in the stellar core fragment. He also intended to use the stellar core fragment to break through to the heavenly god realm. In this contest with the Dragon Mountain, the higher the cultivation the better. If any of you can obtain the array plate, I will reward you handsomely. Alright, follow me. After Long Zhoushan finished his last sentence, he turned around and headed towards the star system. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, the Paragon Saint, and the others followed. In another direction, the other prodigies of the Qin Heavenly 13 sects also arrived at the edge of the star system under the lead of their respective sect masters. The mission I gave you is to obtain at least 3 of the 12 array plates. Do you understand? The Dean of the Mystic Academy warned the prodigies of the Mystic Academy. He didn't hide his voice and it spread far and wide, allowing everyone to hear him. Dean, don't worry. We will definitely obtain at least 3 of the 12 array plates. No problem. The prodigies of the Mystic Academy spoke one after another. They were all very confident. The Mystic Academy sure is confident. However, I am the invincible Kenzo. I need at least 3 array plates. Are you confident? The invincible Kenzo sect master sneered and asked the prodigies of the invincible Kenzo. Yes. 3 array plates. We must obtain them. The prodigies of the invincible Kenzo roared with confidence. On the other side, the prodigies of the immeasurable sacred ground roared as well. Their goal was also to obtain at least 3 array plates. There were a total of 12 array plates. The 3 overlords were all very confident that they would obtain at least 3 array plates. This made the prodigies of the top 10 sects look solemn. They didn't say anything. Their appetite wasn't that big. Their goal was only 1 array plate. As long as they could obtain 1 array plate, they would be satisfied. Alright, you can all depart now. The Dean of the Mystic Academy waved his hand. Yes. The prodigies of the Mystic Academy responded and flew toward the star system in front of them. There were a total of 18 planets in the star system in front of them. There might be array plates on all 18 planets. Therefore they could only rely on their luck to choose a star and fly toward it. However, they could only choose the outermost planet to fly toward it first. They would start their search from the outermost planets. The prodigies of the Mystic Academy chose a black planet and flew toward it. Then, the invincible Kenzo and the immeasurable sacred ground each chose a planet and flew toward it. In this way, the 3 overlords each occupied one of the outermost planets. You all should depart as well. Long Zhoushan instructed Lu Ming and the others. Let's go to that planet first. Ouyang Qingxiang pointed at a blue planet. That planet wasn't the one the 3 overlords had chosen to enter. The others didn't have any objections. They all moved and flew toward that planet. The prodigies of the other sects also chose a planet and flew toward it. Some sects chose to fly toward the same planet. After all, the surface area of a planet was very large. Even if they landed on the same planet, they might not encounter each other. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others flew into the star system's range. They didn't find anything strange. Originally, the God Kings would have been blocked by the star system's array when they reached this distance. However, Lu Ming and the others didn't find anything strange. It's really effective. Many God Kings' eyes lit up. Seeing nothing strange, Lu Ming and the others increased their speed. They flew toward that blue planet like streaks of light. As they got closer, the planet grew larger and larger in front of them. At the same time, they felt a powerful gravitational force on them. What a powerful gravitational force! Everyone's expression changed slightly. They felt that this planet's gravitational force was shockingly strong. Furthermore, the closer they got to the planet, the more terrifying the gravitational force became. In the end, when they were several tens of thousands of meters above the star system, the gravitational force was shockingly strong. They had to constantly circulate their divine energy to resist that gravitational force. Let's go down. Ouyang Qingxiang took the lead and flew down. The others followed one after another and landed on the ground. Bang, bang. In the end, they landed heavily on the ground, creating a huge crater. What a hard ground. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. They were very surprised. Chapter 2895. They realized that the planet's ground was extremely hard, like metal. It was not like ordinary rocks at all. This place is shrouded by a formation all year round. That formation can refine a star into a star core, so the planets around the star are also affected. They are much smaller than other planets, but their density is also many times higher. The density of the objects on this planet is also many times higher. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming and the rest nodded. They had also thought of this. In such an environment, this planet was naturally dead silent. There were no living creatures. Everywhere they looked, there were bare rocks that emitted a metallic luster. Moreover, these rocks were fiery red like pieces of rubies. Of course, if these rocks were placed in the mortal world, they would be treasures. But to Lu Ming and the rest, they were useless. Although this planet is much smaller than the planets outside, it's still shockingly large. I think it's better for us to split up. It'll be easier to find the formation plate that way. At this moment, the Paragon Saint said coldly. That's right, I think so too. Paragon Saint, let's work together. Fuko Seiko also said. Good, that's exactly what I want. The Paragon Saint smiled. Swoosh, swoosh. In a flash, Fuko Seiko, Saint Jixia, Saint Yen Kong, and Saintess Shuatan appeared beside the Paragon Saint. Their intentions were self-evident. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, let's compete and see who can get the formation plate. The Paragon Saint sneered. Then he led Fuko Seiko and the rest away quickly. Lu Ming did not stop or say anything. The Paragon Saint's departure was exactly what Lu Ming wanted. Lu Ming could not be bothered to move together with the Paragon Saint. Even if they did not leave on their own accord, he would find a reason to. Only Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were left at the scene. The two of them discussed for a while, then randomly chose a direction and ran along the ground. The ground here was made of fiery red rocks. Some of them had already crystallized and were incomparably hard. Not even a blade of grass grew. The two of them ran for tens of thousands of li, but the situation was still the same. They didn't find anything. The two of them had no choice but to continue forward. They had no idea where the array plate was, so they could only try their luck in the dark. Just like that, a few hours passed, but there was still no result. There's something on the ground. At this time, Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He felt a slight vibration coming from beneath the ground. Bang! Just as Lu Ming's voice fell, the rocks on the ground exploded. Then a fiery red light rushed towards Lu Ming. Boom! Without thinking, Lu Ming released his divine power and punched out, smashing into the fiery red light, causing a violent explosion. Then the fiery red light was sent flying, smashing into the ground, creating a huge crater. There are actually living creatures here. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were stunned. At this moment they could clearly see what the fiery red light was. It was a creature that looked extremely similar to a pangolin. Its entire body was covered in a layer of fiery red armor, and its two claws revealed ice-cold sharp claws. Squeak! The pangolin let out a squeak, its eyes looking at Lu Ming with burning greed. Flash, flash! The pangolin spoke and its body flickered, charging at Lu Ming again. Bang! Lu Ming threw another punch, sending the pangolin creature flying and crashing onto the ground. However, the pangolin creature swayed its body and stood up again. What a strong defense. Lu Ming's eyes moved. He could see that this pangolin was roughly a first-layer heavenly god, but its defense was much stronger than other first-layer heavenly gods. An ordinary first-level celestial god would definitely be smashed into pieces by Lu Ming's punch. However, this pangolin living creature seemed to be fine after being hit by Lu Ming's two consecutive punches. Flash, flash! The pangolin let out a sharp cry, and pounced at Lu Ming again. This time, a spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he stabbed it out. Boom! The spear pierced through the pangolin's mouth. This time, the pangolin struggled for a bit before becoming motionless. It no longer had any signs of life. Lu Ming waved his hand and put away the pangolin. The pangolin's scales were incomparably hard. If used to make armor, it would be difficult for anyone under the heavenly god realm to break through. There are actually living creatures on this planet, how wonderful! Ouyang Qingxiang exclaimed. I think it's the remaining living creatures on this planet. Lu Ming said. He speculated that this planet must have had many living creatures, but after the formation was set up, the stars gradually extinguished, and the environment changed greatly. Many living creatures went extinct or left this place. However, some living creatures had extremely tenacious vitality, and might evolve as the environment changed and stubbornly survived, such as this pangolin. The appearance of the pangolin made the two of them even more cautious. Since the pangolin could exist, there might be more living creatures or even more terrifying ones. They had to be careful. The two withdrew their auras and continued in the same direction. Soon they encountered another pangolin, but its strength was similar to the previous one. The two used their full strength and easily killed it. There are living creatures here, maybe they know the location of the formation plate. Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes suddenly lit up. That's right, why didn't I think of that? Lu Ming's eyes also lit up. Thinking of this, the two of them felt a fire burning in their hearts. They continued to advance in this direction. Sure enough, not long after, they encountered the attacks of a few pangolins. The two of them heavily injured one of the pangolins and killed the rest. Speak, do you know if there are any formation plates here? Lu Ming stepped on the pangolin's body and coldly asked. Flesh, flesh and blood. The pangolin constantly struggled, constantly roaring. It completely ignored Lu Ming's question. This kind of creature seems to have very low intelligence. It only knows how to devour flesh and blood. Ouyang Qingxiang frowned. Clearly, there were no other living creatures on this planet. These pangolins were extremely thirsty for flesh and blood, which was why they kept attacking Lu Ming's group. However, their intelligence was extremely low. Since their intelligence is low, let's soul search them, Lu Ming said. He then cast the soul-searching technique and began to search his soul. Not long after, Lu Ming obtained some useful information from the pangolin's soul. Chapter 2896. The information in the soul of the pangolin was very scattered, but Lu Ming still managed to capture some useful information. At a certain location on this planet, there was a very strange place. Many pangolins lived there. There must be something fishy going on. Maybe that place has a formation badge. Even if there isn't a formation badge, it's worth a try if there are other treasures. Lu Ming thought. Lu Ming, did you find anything? Ouyang Qingxiang asked. Yes, there's something strange somewhere on the planet. Let's go take a look, Lu Ming said. Lu Ming immediately headed in a certain direction based on the information he had obtained from the soul of the pangolin. Along the way they were constantly attacked by pangolins. In this direction the number of pangolins seemed to be increasing. Luckily, the cultivation of the pangolins was not too high. Most of them were first-layer heaven gods. They did not encounter any second-layer heaven gods. Even though the first-layer heaven gods had strong defenses, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang did not feel any pressure. They proceeded forward. 2 days later they arrived at a hill. From afar, the hill looked like giant rubies embedded in the ground, emitting a brilliant glow. From time to time, one could see pangolins crawling across the hills. According to the memory of the pangolins, the special place was at the center of the hill. Bang! Bang! At this moment, a series of rumbling sounds came from the depths of the hill. From afar, one could see beams of divine light shooting up into the sky, piercing through the firmament. Someone was fighting in the hill. Who is it? Could it be Supreme Universe and the others? Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes flickered. It's very likely that the pangolins are heading inside. Come, let's follow them, Lu Ming said. The pangolins in the hill immediately ran deeper into the hill after hearing the commotion. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang withdrew their auras and followed the pangolins. Not long after they arrived deep inside the hill. Up ahead, there were 5 figures fighting against a group of pangolins. It really is them. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang glanced at each other. The 5 people fighting the pangolin were the Paragon Saint, Fuko Seiko, and the others. There were hundreds of pangolins attacking the Paragon Saint and the other 4. However, although there were many pangolins, their cultivation bases were not high. Most of them were first-layer heavenly gods. Only a few were second-layer heavenly gods. As for third-layer heavenly gods, there was not a single one. The 5 Paragon Saints had the upper hand. They continued to break out of the encirclement and rushed towards a hill. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang's gazes also swept over that hill, and their eyes suddenly lit up. On top of the hill there was an altar. It was not tall, only a meter or so. On the altar, runes were shining, and above the altar, there was a bronze token floating. Array plate. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang's hearts stirred. It was very likely that this was the array plate they were looking for. They did not expect that there would really be an array plate here. They were in luck. One should know that there were only 12 of such array plates. Charge over, we must get this array plate. The Paragon Saint roared. At this moment, he had already transformed into the Paragon Diamond body. His body was huge and his fists were constantly punching out. Every punch was able to send a pangolin flying. Some of them even exploded. Although the pangolins had strong defensive abilities, they could not withstand the Paragon Saint's all-out attack. Fuko Seiko and the others followed beside the Paragon Saint and attacked continuously. They quickly approached the altar. This array plate is mine. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Since he had encountered it, how could he let the Paragon Saint and the others get it? Let's go. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang moved and dashed toward the altar at high speed. Most of the pangolins were attacking the Paragon Saint and the others. They did not notice Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang at all. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were almost unobstructed. Only a few pangolins attacked them, but they were easily sent flying. They quickly approached the altar. Lu Ming. The Paragon Saint also noticed Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang and let out a furious roar. Especially when he saw Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang quickly approaching the altar, his anger soared to the heavens. Don't even think about it. The Paragon Saint roared. He ignored his own defense and allowed the attacks of the pangolins to land on his body. He madly rushed towards the altar. As a result, his speed was indeed much faster. But compared to Lu Ming, he was still a little slower. Soon, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were less than a kilometer away from the altar. At this time, most of the pangolins were finally alerted. Many of them charged towards Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. Green Lotus Sword Song. Ouyang Qingxiang shouted. With a wave of her hand, numerous green lotuses appeared around her. Boundless sword chi shot out, aiming for the pangolin's mouth and eyes, as well as other vital points. Immediately, quite a few pangolins were killed. Ancient God Body. Lu Ming directly used the ancient god art, and his body rapidly grew. He turned into a 200-meter-tall azure-armored ancient god. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming brandished his long spear and swept away more than 10 pangolins in an instant. Lu Ming strode forward. With just a few steps he arrived near the altar. His spear shook, sending the pangolins flying. Then he reached out a hand to grab the formation plate. Lu Ming, you dare! The Paragon Saint roared and madly attacked, but he was still a step too slow. Lu Ming grabbed the formation plate. There was nothing strange. Lu Ming grabbed the formation plate. Lu Ming, I was the one who found the formation plate first. Hand it over. The Paragon Saint roared and finally rushed over. He threw a punch at Lu Ming. The resplendent fist was like a golden sun, crushing down on Lu Ming. Its power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming turned his hand back and fired a shot. Boom. Their attacks collided, and an earth-shattering explosion erupted. Rings of energy spread out in all directions, sending many of the pangolins flying. Bang! Bang! Their huge bodies swayed and they both took a few steps back. Don't you know that those who saw it have a share? Moreover, you only saw it and didn't get it. Why can't I attack? Lu Ming sneered in response. Then you'll die. Supreme Divine Fist. The Paragon Saint roared, waving his fists toward Lu Ming. With a thought, Lu Ming put away the array card. He then brandished his long spear and charged toward the Paragon Saint. Brr, brr, brr. In the battle, Lu Ming used the Divine Dragon Aspect art. 3 huge 9-clawed dragon aspects appeared in the air and pounced at the Paragon Saint. Chapter 2897. Lu Ming and the Paragon Saint were engaged in an intense battle. The two of them had just fought a while ago and now Lu Ming still had the upper hand. Lu Ming used all his means. After a dozen moves, Lu Ming had already gained the upper hand. The Paragon Saint was no match for him and was forced to retreat. Come and help me. The Paragon Saint roared. Fuko Seiko, Holy Sun Jixia, and the others also charged over. Floating Light, your opponent is me. Ouyang Qingxiang shouted coldly as she charged toward Fuko Seiko. Ouyang Qingxiang and Fuko Seiko were both 5th-level heavenly gods. The two of them fought fiercely. As for Holy Sun Jixia, Holy Sun Yen Kong, and Holy Daughter Shuatan, their cultivation bases were a bit weaker. They had just charged toward Lu Ming when they were sent flying by Lu Ming's spear. They were injured and almost vomited blood. They couldn't interfere in the battle between Lu Ming and the Paragon Saint. After exchanging a few more blows, the 9-clawed Divine Dragon Dharma Idol's dragon claw scratched the Paragon Saint's body, leaving a few deep wounds on his Paragon Diamond body. The Paragon Saint roared and punched the 9-clawed Dragon Dharma Idol, causing it to collapse. However, Lu Ming had the quantifying character art. His divine energy continuously poured into his body, and the 3 9-clawed Dragon Dharma Idols condensed once more. There were also 9 ice chains. As soon as they were destroyed, Lu Ming would condense them again. He didn't care about the consumption of his divine energy. Damn it. Lu Ming, just you wait. The Paragon Saint roared and turned to leave. He knew that the formation plate had been obtained by Lu Ming. It was impossible for him to snatch it back. If the battle continued, it would be disadvantageous for him. The Supreme Holy Sun turned around and left. Fuko Seiko and the others didn't dare to continue fighting. They hurriedly ran after the Supreme Holy Sun and quickly broke out of the encirclement of the pangolins. Lu Ming did not give chase. Although his combat strength could suppress the Paragon Holy Sun, defeating him and killing him were two completely different things. With his current strength, it was not quite possible for him to kill the Paragon Holy Sun. Let's leave too, Lu Ming said to Ouyang Qingxiang. Then the two of them charged in another direction. After rushing out of the encirclement, they disappeared from this world. Over 100,000 li away, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang found a place to rest. 2 days later, after the two of them had recovered to their peak condition, they continued their search on the planet. Unfortunately, they searched the planet for a full 7 to 8 days but to no avail. It seems like there's only one array plate on this planet. Let's go to other planets to take a look, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Alright, then let's go to that planet. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and pointed to the sky. Above them, there was a fiery red planet floating in the air. This planet was even closer to the star. Alright. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded. Immediately, the two of them soared into the sky, turned into two streams of light and flew toward that planet. Not long after Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang left, 5 figures appeared in a secret place not far away. They were the Paragon Holy Sun, Fuko Seiko, and the others. Paragon of Universe, what should we do now? Fuko Seiko asked. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang must die. The Paragon Holy Sun gritted his teeth, his eyes flashing with a sinister light. With our strength, I'm afraid we can't kill Lu Ming and the others. Holy Maiden Shuatan said. If we can't kill them, naturally someone else can. Back in the land of the ancient god, Lu Ming killed the Holy Sons of the Mystic Academy and the Invincible Kenzo. These two forces want to eliminate Lu Ming. The Paragon Holy Sun said coldly. You want to kill them with a borrowed knife? Fuko Seiko and the others' eyes lit up. That's right. Now, Mo Jui and the others from the Mystic Academy are on that dark planet. Let's go there and inform them of Lu Ming's whereabouts. Moreover, Lu Ming still has an array plate. I believe Mo Jui will definitely make a move. The Paragon Holy Sun said, his body emitting a sinister murderous aura. He glanced at Fuko Seiko and the others and continued, as long as Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang are dead, the Kongshin school will still be mine. I promise you that I will not mistreat you in the future. Rather than letting the Kongshin school fall into the hands of Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang, why don't you make the decision? Let's go and find Mo Jui and the others. Fuko Seiko said. Immediately, the 5 of them flew towards the dark planet where the Mystic Academy was located. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang did not spend much time on the fiery red planet. The environment of this planet was even worse. The gravity of this planet was stronger than the previous one, and the temperature was shockingly high. Ordinary creatures would not be able to survive here. After the two of them arrived on this planet, they started searching everywhere. This is Red Dawn Gold. Not long after, they found a few pieces of strange metal. Red Dawn Gold was an extremely rare refining material. It could be used to refine supreme-grade artifacts used by immortal kings. It was extremely precious. The two of them were overjoyed. Dragon Joshan was right. In this galaxy, other than the array plate, there were indeed other treasures. This kind of metal is very useful to Qiuqiu. If he swallows it, it will definitely be very useful. Lu Ming thought. Thinking of this, Lu Ming looked at the bracelet on his wrist that Qiuqiu had turned into. Ever since Qiuqiu swallowed the bronze from the bronze altar in the ancient god world, he had been in a deep slumber. Until now, there were still no signs of him waking up. There were 2 pieces of Red Dawn Gold. Originally, they were going to split them equally. Lu Ming wanted to buy it from Ouyang Qingxiang with divine crystals. Ouyang Qingxiang shook her head and directly gave the Red Dawn Gold to Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony and kept it. After that, they continued to search on this planet and really did find many precious metals. Ouyang Qingxiang knew that these metals were very useful to Lu Ming, so she gave them all to Lu Ming. She only accepted some divine crystals as a token of appreciation. Just as Lu Ming and the rest were searching on this planet, on the other side, the Paragon Saint and Fuko Seiko had already found Mo Jui and the rest. Paragon Saint, you actually dared to take the initiative to find us. Aren't you afraid that I will attack and make you stay? Mo Jui sneered as he looked at the Paragon Saint and the rest. A trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. The Paragon Saint and Fuko Seiko's expressions changed slightly. However, they were not ordinary people and quickly calmed down. Mo Jui, to you we are not a threat at all. The real threat to you is Lu Ming. The Paragon Saint said. Lu Ming? You think that kid is a threat to me? A trace of cold light flashed in Mo Jui's eyes, revealing his strong confidence. That's right. Without a doubt, the divine power that Lu Ming controls is also divine power. Moreover, he has mastered several extremely terrifying secret techniques. His combat strength is amazing. If his cultivation level increases, he may be able to fight you. Also, he already has an array plate in his hands. The Paragon Saint said. Chapter 2898. Oh, there's an array plate? Mo Jioye's eyes lit up. He looked at the Supreme Saint with a faint smile and said, Supreme Universe, I know you want to use me to get rid of Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming has repeatedly offended the Mystic Academy and killed our saint. He deserves to die. Even if you didn't say it, I would still kill him. I'm not borrowing your hand but cooperating. We'll work together to get rid of Lu Ming. You can have the array plate and we'll both take what we need. The Supreme Saint said. Whatever. Tell me where's Lu Ming? Mo Jioye said indifferently. He's on that planet. The Supreme Saint pointed at the fiery red planet in the sky. Alright, let's go to that planet. A cold light flashed in Mo Jioye's eyes. He took the lead and flew towards the planet where Lu Ming was. At the same time, the other experts of the Mystic Academy also followed Mo Jioye. Lu Ming, let's see how you're going to die this time. A cold light flashed in the Supreme Saint's eyes. Then he, Fuko Seiko, and the others followed the people of the Mystic Academy and rushed towards the planet where Lu Ming was. Not long after, Mo Jioye, the Supreme Saint, and the others landed on the planet where Lu Ming was. However, they couldn't find any traces of Lu Ming and the others. Could it be that Lu Ming and the others have already left this planet? One of the Mystic Academy's Sky Pride asked. I don't think so. They just arrived on this planet not long ago. They must have spent some time searching. It's just that this planet is very big and we haven't met them yet. The Supreme Saint said. Then we'll split up. Four-eyed, you take a few people and move together with Supreme Universe and the others. I'll take a few people with me. Remember, once you meet Lu Ming and the others, send me a message immediately. Don't let him escape. Mo Jioye instructed. Yes, once we meet Lu Ming, he won't be able to escape. Four-eyed Emptiness was full of confidence. Autarch Cosmos's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. He knew that this was the best arrangement. Four-eyed Empty Space's battle prowess wasn't any weaker than his. If he and Four-eyed Empty Space worked together, they wouldn't need to fear Lu Ming. Once Mo Jioye arrived, Lu Ming would be dead for sure. After splitting the spoils, Mo Jioye left with the other Sky Prides. Four-eyed Hollow Court and Sovereign of the Universe took some people and set off in another direction. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were completely unaware that the Paragon Saint had already joined forces with the Mystic Academy and attacked this planet. They continued their search on the planet. There really weren't any living beings on this planet. They could only search around in the dark. It had to be said that their luck was really good. 2 days later, they found an altar in a canyon. Above the altar, there was a bronze array plate floating. There were only 12 array plates in total. They actually found another one. Their luck was really amazing. The two of them were overjoyed. Just as they were about to fly over and take the array plate, a few figures rushed towards them at an astonishing speed. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of Lu Ming and blocked their way. Autarch Cosmos, it's you again. Four-eyed Hollow Court, why are you guys together? Ouyang Qingxiang's expression changed drastically when she saw them. Send a message to the Divine Sun. Four-eyed Hollow Court ordered one of the Mystic Academy Sky Prides to send a message to Mo Jioye. Meanwhile, his 4 eyes were glaring coldly at Lu Ming. He Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang. Let's see where you can escape this time. The Paragon Saint's figure flashed and appeared behind Lu Ming and the others, blocking their path of retreat. Autarch Cosmos, you're joining forces with the Mystic Academy? You're going against our Kongshin School's disciples? Ouyang Qingxiang shouted angrily. Her expression was ugly as she looked around. She was afraid that Mo Jioye would be nearby. That would be dangerous. However, Ouyang Qingxiang heaved a sigh of relief when she didn't see Mo Jioye. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, who asked you to be so stubborn to go against me? You deserve to die. The Paragon Saint roared ferociously. Then he said to Four-eyed Hollow Court, Four-eyed Hollow Court, let's attack together and delay Lu Ming. There's no need for us to join forces against a mere Lu Ming. Autarch Cosmos, I think you're becoming more and more useless. Let me do it. Four-eyed Hollow Court looked at the Paragon Saint with disdain. He could clearly sense that Lu Ming was only a true Immortal Realm cultivator. He didn't believe that a true Immortal Realm cultivator would be able to fight against him. Boom. Four-eyed Hollow Court emitted a berserk aura. Vast divine force surged out. 6th level Heavenly God Realm, Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz cultivation base was the same as the Paragon Saint's. He was also a Heavenly God Realm cultivator, and he could control Saint-grade divine force. Kill. Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz waved his hand, and spear lights shot out from his fingers. They were sharp and resplendent as they attacked Lu Ming. Ancient God Art Space Splitter. In an instant, Lu Ming used the Ancient God Art and transformed into the Ancient God Body. The long spear in his hand constantly stabbed out, destroying Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz spear lights. Ancient God Body, you've also cultivated the Ancient God Body. Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz roared in disbelief. His 4 eyes were filled with envy and jealousy. With a loud roar, he turned into a ray of light and attacked Lu Ming. At the same time, his 4 eyes shone brightly. Then, terrifying beams of light burst forth and charged toward Lu Ming. They were extremely powerful. Void Break, Void Break. Lu Ming continuously executed the first move of the 3 Armageddon strikes. His long spear vibrated, and in an instant terrifying spear lights were thrust out, blocking Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz attacks. So strong, how is this possible? Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz was dumbfounded. He finally knew why the Paragon Saint was defeated by Lu Ming. It wasn't because the Paragon Saint was trash, but because Lu Ming was too monstrous. Lu Ming executed the Godly Dragon Aspect Art, and used all kinds of methods to attack Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz. Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz's battle strength was indeed very strong. He was not weaker than Paragon Universe, especially the attacks from his 4 eyes. They were extremely terrifying, and even Lu Ming was wary of them. In an instant the two had exchanged more than 10 blows. The more they fought, the more shocked Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz was as he felt that he was no match for Lu Ming. Paragon Universe, let's attack together. Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz roared. I already told you, let's attack together. Paragon Universe sneered, then turned into Paragon Vajra and attacked Lu Ming. The two of them joined forces, and for a moment Lu Ming was suppressed. On the other side, the others attacked Ouyang Qingxiang, putting her in imminent danger. I can't stay here for long. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind and decided to leave first. Paragon Universe and Four-Eyed Hollow Quartz were not Lu Ming's opponents by themselves. But when the two of them joined forces, Lu Ming was no match for them. At most, he could only protect himself. Chapter 2899. Even if Lu Ming could protect himself, Ouyang Qingxiang was still in danger. That was why Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to fight with her. Explode. Explode. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The 3 9-clawed divine dragon Dharma appearances exploded with a loud bang, forming a terrifying wave of energy. In an instant, the Supreme King Kong transformed by the Paragon Saint was forced to retreat continuously. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Ming charged out of the encirclement and charged toward Ouyang Qingxiang. At this moment, Ouyang Qingxiang was fully focused on defense. Green lotus flowers floated around her, blocking the attacks, but she was still in imminent danger. That was because there were people in the Mystic Academy stronger than her. Even if she focused on defense, she was still in danger. Scram. At this moment, Lu Ming arrived. His spear pressed down, turning into a dozen huge spear images that pressed down like a mountain range. Rumble. The spear light pressed down, causing a terrifying vibration. Fuko Seiko, the holy son of Jixia, the holy son of Yen Sky, the holy daughter of Shuatan, and the other 6 holy sons and holy daughters of the Mystic Academy all had a change in expression. With a roar, each of them unleashed their strongest attacks at Lu Ming. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying vibrations erupted, and more than 10 figures were pushed back. Saint Sun Fu Guang and the rest of the top 10 experts were blasted back by Lu Ming's one move. They were at least 100 meters away. A few of them with weaker cultivation levels even trembled and spat out a mouthful of blood. How terrifying. The same thought appeared in their minds. They were also holy sons, but even with so many of them working together, they were still pushed back by Lu Ming. Some of them were even injured. Lu Ming's strength shocked them. Let's go. Lu Ming dashed past. A stream of divine power wrapped around Ouyang Qingxiang and they dashed forward. Where do you think you're going? Chase. The Paragon Universe and Four-Eyed Emptiness roared as they chased after Lu Ming. The others followed closely behind. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had traveled several thousand li. However, Lu Ming was even faster. He was like a rock flying through the air, constantly pulling away from Paragon Cosmos, Four-Eyed Hollow Temple, and the others. Damn it! The Universe Supremacy roared. The killing intent in his heart was extremely dense. Lu Ming had to die. Otherwise, the fact that he had colluded with the Mystic Academy to kill Lu Ming would definitely be exposed. When that time came, even if he had someone backing him up, he would never be able to make a name for himself in the Kongshan school. He would be despised by everyone. Therefore he must kill Lu Ming in Ouyang Qingxiang. Don't worry, just let him run in this direction. His eyes were empty but his face was calm. Could it be in that direction? A thought occurred to Autarch Cosmos Master, and his eyes lit up. That's right. Mo Jiuyi is coming from that direction. If he runs in that direction, he'll be walking right into the trap. So, we just have to keep chasing from behind and let him run forward. Four-eyed Emptiness sneered. That's great. Autarch Cosmos Master was overjoyed. Of course, their conversation was through telepathy. They were afraid that Lu Ming would hear them. The chase continued for another half an hour. The distance between the two parties had widened. Autarch Cosmos Master and the others could barely see Lu Ming's figure. Not good. Lu Ming stopped. At this moment, Gumo's voice rang out. What's wrong? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He could not help but stop. There's an expert in front of us. He's very strong. You're definitely not his match. He's fast. He's almost there. Quickly change direction. Gumo said loudly. He was a little anxious. Could it be Mo Jiuyi? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The first thing he thought of was Mo Jiuyi. Since Four-Eyed Emptiness and the others had appeared, Mo Jiuyi was probably on this planet as well. Without thinking, Lu Ming immediately changed direction and rushed to the left. Damn it, why did he change direction? Did he discover Mo Jiuyi? After him. Four-Eyed Emptiness shouted angrily and chased in Lu Ming's direction. Rumble. Lu Ming had just changed direction and ran for a short distance when he sensed a terrifying aura coming from the direction he had come from. The speed of the aura was extremely shocking. When it first appeared, it was still far away. In a few breaths, it appeared not far away. It's Mo Jiuyi. Lu Ming looked around and saw Mo Jiuyi's figure. A layer of black light appeared outside Mo Jiuyi's body, making him look like a dark cloud. He chased after Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. His speed was even faster than Lu Ming's. The distance between him and Lu Ming was constantly closing. At first, the two parties were still a few thousand miles apart. Soon, the distance between them was less than 1,000 miles. After running for a while, the distance between the two parties was less than 300 miles. If this continued, Lu Ming would be caught soon. Lu Ming died. Mo Jiuyi's cold voice sounded. The black light around his body surged and turned into a pitch-black claw. It crossed the distance of a few hundred miles and grabbed at Lu Ming. Divine Dragon Dharma Laksana. Lu Ming used the Divine Dragon Dharma Laksana. 3 huge 9-clawed dragons condensed and pounced at Mo Jiuyi's claw. Child's play. Break. Mo Jiuyi shouted coldly as the pitch-black claw came down. Bam. 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 With 3 booming sounds, the 3 9-clawed Divine Dragon Dharma characteristics collapsed. They were unable to stop the black claws at all. The black claws continued to move toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's face changed. He turned around and used all his strength to attack. Lu Ming used the second move of the 3 annihilating strikes, moon slashing. Holding the spear with both hands, he slashed down. A crescent-shaped spear light blasted at the pitch-black claw. When the crescent-shaped spear light struck the pitch-black claw, there was a violent explosion. The crescent-shaped spear light trembled and then exploded. Lu Ming felt an incomparably powerful force surging from his spear. His body shook violently and his huge body frantically retreated. Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. He also felt a pitch-black energy covering his body. It had a terrifying corrosive power that wanted to corrode his body. What a terrifying divine power. Lu Ming's face was grave. The 6 divine fires in his body revolved at full power. Divine power rushed to the surface of his body to block the incoming divine power. Mo Jiuyi's divine power was a type of divine-grade divine power. Its power was astonishing. Let's go. Lu Ming did not stop. While blocking the divine power, he ran forward. You have some strength, but it's not enough. Kill. Mo Jiuyi shouted coldly and launched another attack from a distance. Lu Ming ran forward while blocking the attacks. Mo Jiuyi's strength was truly astonishing. Lu Ming could already sense that Mo Jiuyi's cultivation was at the 6th level of the heavenly god realm. However, he controlled a divine-grade divine power. His strength was much stronger than the likes of the Sovereign Universe and Four-Eyed Empyrean. Lu Ming was not his opponent at all. Even if he was attacking from a distance, the power was still astonishing. Chapter 2900. Although Mo cultivation was only at the 6th level of the heavenly god realm, which was on par with Sovereign Universe and Four-Eyed Empyrean, his battle prowess far surpassed theirs. Even after exchanging a few blows, Lu Ming felt that he was far from being Mo match. After a few moves, Lu Ming's blood boiled and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The distance between him and Mo was rapidly closing. That kid is dead for sure. Behind him, Sovereign Universe was overjoyed, and he increased his speed to chase after Lu Ming. He wanted to join forces with Mo to attack Lu Ming. This can't go on. Lu Ming's thoughts raced. If this continued, Mo would catch up to him soon. When Sovereign Universe and Four-Eyed Empyrean caught up, Lu Ming wouldn't be able to escape even if he had wings. Only death awaited him. Lu Ming, there is only one way now. Fly in the direction of the star, toward the planet closest to the star. The gravitational force will be stronger as it is closer to the star. The environment there will definitely be more complicated. You will then have a chance to escape. Bone Devil's voice sounded. He was very knowledgeable and quickly came up with a plan. All right. Lu Ming did not hesitate and struck out with his spear. A huge spear light collided with Mo attack. Lu Ming's body shook violently, but at the same time, Lu Ming borrowed the momentum to soar into the sky. The cry of a Kunpeng resounded as Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kunpeng art. Abundant God force formed a Kunpeng on the surface of Lu Ming's body. With a flap of its wings, the Kunpeng soared 90,000 li into the sky, rushing towards the planet closest to the star. You want to escape? Dream on. Mo reacted, and his figure also soared into the sky, chasing after Lu Ming. Behind him, Sovereign Universe, Four-Eyed Empyrean, and the rest also soared into the sky, chasing after Lu Ming. Rushing out of the starry sky, Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kunpeng art with all his might, and his speed became even faster. For a moment, Mo actually couldn't catch up to Lu Ming. The two sides, one fleeing and the other chasing, crossed a long distance and rapidly approached the planet closest to the star. From afar, the planet closest to the star was fiery red, as if it was shrouded in a layer of fiery red clouds. It was a dazzling sight. Very soon Lu Ming was not far from the planet. Lu Ming, even if you run to the ends of the earth, you'll still die. Emojio's Ro Yi chased after Lu Ming Empyrean. He heavens earths you. Heaven, he's heaven heaven earth's earth planet 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 planets heaven heaven. Heaven earth 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 earth, S's, S level Empyrean level heaven heaven? What a terrifying gravitational force. Lu Ming revealed a shocked expression. The gravitational force of this planet was beyond Lu Ming's imagination. It was extremely terrifying. Even Lu Ming almost fell for it due to his carelessness. But before Lu Ming could recover, a gale attacked Lu Ming. Its speed was extremely shocking, and before Lu Ming could react, he was swept away by the gale. Hot. That was Lu Ming's first thought. This gale was incomparably hot, and its temperature was even more terrifying than lava. Lu Ming felt a burning sensation on his skin. Lu Ming hastily circulated his divine energy to resist. Only then did he feel a bit better. However, this gale's power was too shocking. Even if Lu Ming wanted to use his full power to charge out, he was unable to do so. He could only be swept away by the gale. Behind him, Mo had followed Lu Ming into this planet. But his fate was the same as Lu Ming's. As soon as he charged in, he was also swept away by the gale. Unable to control himself, he was swept away in a different direction from Lu Ming. After Mo Sovereign Universe, Four-Eyed Empyrean, Fuko Seiko, and the others all charged into this planet. But those with weaker cultivation bases were even more miserable. They were unable to control themselves, and they were sucked in by the terrifying gravitational force. They fell to the ground heavily injured. As for those with higher cultivation bases, although they were able to resist the gravitational force, they were swept away by the gale. It was unknown where they were sent flying. The group of people had all scattered. Lu Ming was swept along by the gale. He didn't know how far he had flown. Slowly, the gale's power weakened, and Lu Ming took the opportunity to charge out of the gale and fly back to the ground. Bang! Lu Ming landed heavily on the ground. The hardness of the ground here was even more astonishing. It was several times harder than the ground of the previous few planets. The powerful gravitational force was constantly acting on Lu Ming's body, forcing Lu Ming to constantly circulate his divine power to resist. Lu Ming was on guard. But after waiting for a while, nothing happened. It seems that the gale only exists in the sky of this planet. It's relatively rare on the ground. As long as I avoid it carefully, I should be fine. Lu Ming pondered and then released his right palm. Ouyang Qingxiang was sitting cross-legged on Lu Ming's palm. At this moment, Lu Ming was in his ancient god body. He was a few hundred meters tall, and his palm was incomparably huge. It was very easy for him to hold Ouyang Qingxiang. Lu Ming, are you okay? Where are Mo Jiuyi and the others? Ouyang Qingxiang quickly asked. I got rid of them, Lu Ming said. As he spoke, Lu Ming's body quickly shrank to the size of an ordinary person. Then he felt a wave of weakness. In the previous battle, Lu Ming had been maintaining his ancient god body for a long time, which consumed a lot of his physical strength. Then the two of them randomly chose a direction and ran. Soon they found a secluded place where the two of them temporarily rested. A few days later, the two of them had recovered to their peak state. Only then did they leave this place and move forward. Soon the two of them had a harvest. Lu Ming found a few pieces of strange metal. In the next few days, the two of them continued to harvest. There were actually a lot of precious metals on this planet. Lu Ming's face was full of smiles. This planet was the closest to the star, so it was the most affected by the formation. It was indeed extraordinary. Suddenly, a sharp cry came from ahead. Is there a living creature? Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were stunned. Listening to the sound, it seemed to be the cry of a bird. But on this planet, in such a harsh environment, there were still living creatures? The two of them were very curious and flew in the direction of the sound. Boom, boom. Soon the two of them heard a violent roar. Someone was fighting. The two of them quickly concealed their aura. After flying for a while, they finally saw the situation clearly. 5 young men and women were engaged in a fierce battle with 3 giant birds. They are from the Jianghu sect. Ouyang Qingxiang recognized the origin of the 5 people at a glance. They were the geniuses of the Jianghu sect, one of the top 10 sects in the Qingtian 13 sects. The Jianghu sect was considered to be one of the top 10 sections. Of course, it was still a little inferior to the Kongshen school. The 5 people in front of them were very strong. 3 of them were saints. The strongest one was not weaker than Ouyang Qingxiang. Chapter 2901. The 5 of them were fighting against 3 large snow-white birds with a wingspan of more than 50 meters. No, they're not real creatures. They're made of energy. Lu Ming's eyes moved. He could see that the 3 large birds were not living creatures at all. They were made of energy and had no aura of life. Chonglu flying snow. The 5 young men and women from Chonglu sect were all using a battle axe with amazing power. The battle axe completely suppressed the 3 large birds. Especially the black-robed young man whose strength was not weaker than Ouyang Qingxiang. He chopped down with his battle axe and chopped off a large bird's wing. Kill? The black-robed young man shouted and swung his battle axe horizontally with the power to split open the sky. The large bird's head was chopped off and its body collapsed directly. To Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang's surprise, the large bird turned into a stream of energy after it collapsed and poured into the black-robed young man's body. The black-robed young man looked satisfied and excited. Kill? Then the black-robed young man attacked the other 2 large birds. Not long after, the remaining 2 giant birds were slain. Similar to the previous one, the 2 giant birds collapsed and turned into streams of energy that were absorbed by the 5 young men and women. Awesome, this is awesome. If this goes on, our cultivation will break through soon. A young woman's face was filled with excitement. Yes, I don't know what these large birds are. After killing them, we can absorb their energy. This is a great opportunity. Let's continue moving forward. The black-robed young man said. Then the 5 of them continued moving forward. Soon, several large birds appeared and pounced on the black-robed young man and his group. What a waste. They're simply wasting natural resources by absorbing it like that. I'm so angry. In the sea of consciousness, the quantifying character formula shouted unhappily. Old quantifying character, do you know what those large birds are? Lu Ming asked. Nonsense, of course I know. They're formed by the energy overflowing from the stellar core fragment. The energy of the stellar core fragment is extremely pure, so the energy overflowing from the stellar core fragment can be absorbed directly. The quantifying character formula said. Stellar core fragment. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It was no wonder that the black-robed youth's group of 5 were able to absorb the energy of that huge bird after killing it. It's a complete waste for them to absorb the energy like that. I'm afraid they can't even absorb half of the energy. The rest will dissipate. If it were me, I would definitely be able to absorb 100% of the energy. The quantifying formula said. Are you saying that there are stellar core fragments in this area? Lu Ming asked. That's right, kid. If you get the stellar core fragment, I'm confident that I can help you break through to the heavenly god realm in a short time. The quantifying formula said. I must get the stellar core fragment. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with brilliance. As Lu Ming was about to rush out and chase the black-robed young man away so that he could claim the place for himself, a few beams of light rapidly approached him from the distance. It's him, Four-Eyed Emptiness. Lu Ming glanced around and found that the newcomer was the peerless prodigy of the Mystic Academy, Four-Eyed Emptiness. There were also a few other peerless prodigies of the Mystic Academy. The black-robed young man and the others also noticed Four-Eyed Emptiness and the others, and their faces darkened. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Four-Eyed Emptiness and the others hovered in the air and looked at the large birds with greed. These are formed by the energy of the stellar core fragment. Aha, there's a stellar core fragment here. Four-Eyed Emptiness roared in his heart, and his eyes were filled with greed. As a peerless prodigy of the three overlords, he naturally had a broad vision. He could tell that these large birds were formed by the energy of the stellar core fragment. This was a great opportunity. You can all scram now. This place is mine. Four-Eyed Emptiness said coldly. Four-Eyed Emptiness, we found this place first. Don't you think it's too overbearing to chase us away like this? The black-robed young man said with a dark face. Overbearing? Aha, you can stay here forever if you don't want to leave. Four-Eyed Emptiness sneered. The black-robed young man and the others were enraged. It was not easy for them to come across such an opportunity, and they were unwilling to leave just like that. They quickly retreated and dodged the attacks of the large birds. However, they did not intend to leave. You still think you can get away with this? How foolish. Then I'll send you on your way. Four-Eyed Emptiness shouted coldly. His four eyes opened and shot out four beams of light towards the black-robed young man and the others. Chonglu flying snow. The black-robed young man roared in anger and continuously slashed out with his battle axe. More than a dozen axe radiances slashed towards the beams of light shot out by Four-Eyed Emptiness. Bam! Bam! After a few violent explosions, the black-robed young man's body shook violently. He retreated continuously and spat out a mouthful of blood. He was no match for Four-Eyed Emptiness. It was just like how Ouyang Qingxiang could not withstand more than a few moves from Supreme Universe Master. Haha, Four-Eyed Emptiness, you're really impressive. At this moment, a cold laugh was heard from afar. Then a few sword radiances flashed rapidly. In the next moment, a few more figures appeared in the area. The few young men carried long swords on their backs. The one in the lead had sharp eyebrows and eagle-like eyes. He looked extraordinary. Zhuo Budong. Four-Eyed Emptiness's gaze turned cold and solemn. It's him. He's an extremely powerful sky pride from Invincible Kenzo. He's second only to the Invincible Kenzo's Divine Son, Infinite Sword Dao. His strength is not any weaker than Supreme Universe Master. Ouyang Qingxiang's face also turned solemn as she transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. He also felt a terrifying sword will from this person. When the black-robed young man and the others saw Zhuo Budong appear, their faces turned even uglier. Four-Eyed Emptiness and Zhuo Budong appeared one after another. The opportunities in this place had nothing to do with them. How lucky. There really is a stellar core fragment in this place. Ah, it's mine. Zhuo Budong laughed loudly. He was full of confidence and greed. It's yours? Zhuo Budong, you're really overconfident. Four-Eyed Emptiness sneered. Four-Eyed Emptiness, are you trying to stop me? The outside world has always regarded me as your equal. Today I'll see what right you have to be my equal. Zhuo Budong said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying sword will rose from his body. With a clang, he unsheathed his sword and a snow-white sword radiance shot towards Four-Eyed Emptiness. Four-Eyed Sky fixing. Four-Eyed Emptiness shouted. His four eyes were like four suns, emitting a dazzling radiance. Then four beams of light burst out and turned into four long spears that shot towards Zhuo Budong. Clang, clang, clang. The sword radiance and the destructive beam collided continuously, erupting with terrifying sound waves. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of blows. After that, both of them retreated at the same time. They were evenly matched. Chapter 2902. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong looked at each other from a distance. Both of them looked solemn. For a moment, no one made a move. They knew that if they were to fight, it would take a long time to determine the winner. Moreover, if both of them were injured, the black-robed young man and his companions would take advantage of the situation. Quack. At this moment, several large birds chirped and pounced on Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong respectively. Clang. Swoosh. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong attacked at the same time. In an instant, the birds were killed by them and turned into rolling energy that surged into their bodies and was absorbed by them. Awesome, this is awesome. Four-Eyed Hollow was intoxicated. Zhuo Budong was the same. After absorbing these large birds, their cultivation would increase rapidly. Absorbing one large bird was equivalent to 1,000 years of cultivation. What could be more awesome than this? Four-Eyed Hollow, how about we have a fair competition for the stellar core fragments here? Whoever gets them will get them. What do you think? Zhuo Budong stared at Four-Eyed Hollow and said, "Okay, let's do that. But before that, we still need to get rid of some irrelevant people." Four-Eyed Hollow finished his words and glanced coldly at the black-robed young man and his companions. "That's right. Get lost or die," Zhuo Budong said coldly. The black-robed young man and his companions looked terrible, but they did not dare to refute. In this world, strength was respected. If one talked too much without strength, death was the only way out. "Let's go." The black-robed young man shouted angrily and turned to leave. Although the other four geniuses of the Chonglu sect were unwilling, they could only leave with the black-robed young man. "There are two more ants." "What? Are you still not leaving?" After the black-robed young man and his companions left, Four-Eyed Hollow looked in the direction of Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang and said coldly, "It seems that we have been discovered." Lu Ming smiled faintly and stepped out with Ouyang Qingxiang. "Lu Ming, it's you." Four-Eyed Hollow shouted angrily after seeing Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. Four-Eyed Hollow's eyes flickered with cold killing intent. "Lu Ming, it's you. Ah, good, very good. In the ancient god world, you killed one of the holy princes of the invincible Kenzo. Now leave your life behind." A terrifying sword will rushed out of Zhuo Budong's body. As soon as he finished speaking, a snow-white sword light rushed towards Lu Ming with terrifying power. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming displayed the ancient god tactics and transformed into a green-armored ancient god. He lashed out with his spear and defeated Zhuo Budong's sword light. "Kill!" Lu Ming yelled. His fighting spirit soared to the sky. Under the support of quadruple combat strength, Lu Ming was full of power. Holding the long spear, he charged towards Zhuo Budong. Zhuo Budong's pupils contracted. Obviously, Lu Ming's strength had far exceeded his expectations. "Undying Sword Dao." Zhuo Budong yelled and unleashed a terrifying divine skill, charging towards Lu Ming. Boom! Boom! In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged more than 10 moves. The others could only see the sword light and spear light in the sky. In the beginning, the sword light and spear light were evenly matched. But after a few breaths, the spear light began to suppress the sword light. The sword light vibrated non-stop and finally exploded with a boom. A figure could be seen retreating. The one who retreated was naturally Zhuo Budong. How is this possible? Zhuo Budong's eyes were filled with disbelief. He never expected Lu Ming's strength to be so powerful that even he was no match for him. Four-Eyed Hollow had fought with Lu Ming before, so he was not too surprised. "Zhuo Budong, this Lu Ming is really abnormal. I'm afraid you can't take him down alone. How about we join forces to kill this person together?" Four-Eyed Hollow said to Zhuo Budong. "Okay." Zhuo Budong nodded and emitted a terrifying sword will. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong formed a triangle and forced their way towards Lu Ming. "The two of you want to join forces to kill me. Good, very good. But do you think it's easy to kill me? If I go all out, I can drag one of you down with me. Even if I can't kill you, I can at least seriously injure you. If one of you is seriously injured, will the other let him go?" Lu Ming sneered. As soon as these words came out, Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong's figures stopped immediately. They looked at each other and saw the vigilance in each other's eyes. Lu Ming was right. Even if the two of them joined forces to deal with Lu Ming's strength, it was not impossible for him to drag one of them down with him if he fought back before death. Even if he couldn't kill him, he could definitely seriously injure him. If one of them was seriously injured, would the other let him go? It was impossible. Who didn't want to monopolize the stellar core fragment? For a moment, the two of them did not make a move. "Lu Ming, don't try to drive a wedge between us," Four-Eyed Hollow said in a deep voice. "Aha, drive a wedge between us? I'm just telling the truth. If you want to fight, I'll keep you company." Lu Ming sneered. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong still did not make a move. They naturally knew that what Lu Ming said was indeed the truth. For a moment, the three sides were in a deadlock. Anyone who sees the stellar core fragment will have a share. Let's compete fairly. Whoever can get it will have it. How about that? When the others arrive, we won't have a share, especially the divine princes. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Four-eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong's eyes flashed. They were obviously persuaded. In the Mystic Academy or Invincible Kenzo, the divine princes and divine princes were also competitors just like the Kongshan school. Four-eyed Hollow had always been suppressed by Mo Jui. It would be a lie to say that he didn't want to replace and defeat Mo Jui. If Mo Jui found this place, the stellar core fragment would definitely be monopolized by Mo Jui. How could he have a share? Compared to killing Lu Ming, obtaining the opportunity for himself was more important. Alright, let's compete fairly. The stellar core fragment will belong to whoever has the strength and the opportunity. Four-eyed Hollow finally compromised. After saying that, he led the people of the Mystic Academy and rushed forward. Let's go. Zhuo Budong couldn't fall behind. He also led the other sky prides of the Invincible Kenzo and rushed forward. Let's go too. Lu Ming nodded at Ouyang Qingxiang. The two of them also moved forward in a flash. Not long after they walked in this direction, a large bird swooped out and attacked them. Kill? Lu Ming waved his long spear and pressed down. A large bird was killed by Lu Ming. Suddenly, the large bird collapsed and turned into rolling energy that rushed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming, let me do it first. I'll pass it to you after I devour it. The measure formula said. Then, a powerful suction force erupted and devoured the energy that the large bird had turned into. In the next moment, an incomparably pure energy surged out of the measure formula and poured into Lu Ming's limbs and bones. Lu Ming circulated the universe myriad Dao arts to absorb this energy and convert it into divine power. Chapter 2903. In just a few breaths, Lu Ming had completely absorbed and refined this energy. Lu Ming felt that his divine power had become much richer and purer. Of course, there was still a long way to go before he reached the heavenly god realm. It's really rich energy. Lu Ming sighed. Of course, after I absorbed it, I can fully utilize it. Others can only absorb half of it at most. The quantifying character formula said proudly. Lu Ming smiled. Without any delay, he waved his long spear and killed another big bird, then continued to absorb its energy. At this moment, Ouyang Qingxiang had also killed a big bird and absorbed its energy. The divine power in her body had also become stronger. Cultivating by killing this kind of big bird was many times faster than cultivating normally. On the other side, Four-Eyed Emptiness, Zhuo Budong, and the others were also increasing their speed to kill the big birds and absorb their energy. After absorbing the energy, they continued to move forward. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang also moved forward after killing a few big birds. As they went deeper, the number of big birds also increased. They knew that the stellar core fragment must be in front of them. Although the strength of these big birds was quite strong, they were still hunted down by experts like Lu Ming, Four-Eyed Emptiness, and Zhuo Budong. Lu Ming continued to go deeper and deeper as the big birds were killed one by one. Ka. Suddenly, there was a burst of ear-piercing sounds in front of them. Lu Ming and the others also narrowed their eyes, revealing a shocked expression as they looked ahead in a daze. There was a huge canyon in front of them, but at the mouth of the canyon and above the canyon, there were countless big birds flying. At a glance, the number was definitely no less than 1,000. They covered the sky and blocked the sun, blocking the light in this area. So many. Someone's voice was dry. Lu Ming, Four-Eyed Emptiness, and Zhuo Budong naturally did not care about this kind of big bird. However, if so many of them attacked together, even they would have a hard time. The stellar core fragment must be in this canyon. Four-Eyed Emptiness' eyes revealed deep greed. What should we do? There are so many big birds. How can we get in? Zhuo Budong muttered to himself. His mind was spinning as he tried to think of a way to get rid of the others while keeping the stellar core fragment for himself. Lu Ming, I have a way to help you get in. At this moment, the quantifying formula spoke again. You have a way? What is it? Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he secretly communicated with the measure formula. These giant birds are the condensation of energy from the fragments of the star core. They don't seem to have any intelligence. They only have one instinct. As for me, I am the origin ancient character quantity. I am the origin of all energy and can devour all energy. As long as I release my aura, those giant birds made of energy will definitely not dare to approach you. The quantifying formula said. So simple? Lu Ming was stunned. It's that simple. The measure formula said with a resolute tone. All right. Lu Ming secretly nodded. He already had an idea in his mind. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong, it seems that we have to join forces to rush in. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke to Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong. Join forces? Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong's eyes flashed. Yes, let's join forces. After rushing in, we'll seize the fragments of the stellar core with our own abilities. Lu Ming said. I agree. Me too. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong nodded. After making up their minds, they were ready to take action. Qingxiang, wait a minute. You have to follow me closely. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Ouyang Qingxiang. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded silently and followed Lu Ming closely. Kill. Suddenly, Lu Ming shouted and rushed toward the flock of giant birds at the entrance of the canyon. At the same time, Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong also rushed toward the entrance of the canyon. Caw caw caw. As soon as they moved, the giant birds also noticed them and moved together. They let out sharp screeches and pounced toward Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming shouted and waved his long spear to kill those giant birds. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong also attacked with all their might. However, there were too many giant birds. It was easier said than done to rush in. However, because of this, Zhuo Budong and Four-Eyed Hollow and the others attracted a large number of giant birds. Old measure, now's the time. Lu Ming sent a message to the measure formula. Watch me. The voice of the measure formula was heard. At the same time, the measure formula glowed and a mysterious aura was emitted, shrouding Lu Ming. Originally, there were a few giant birds pouncing toward Lu Ming. Suddenly, they sensed the aura of the measure formula and their eyes were filled with fear. They directly flew away from Lu Ming. It's really effective. Qingxiang, follow me. Lu Ming pulled Ouyang Qingxiang's small hand. The aura of the measure formula followed Ouyang Qingxiang's small hand and covered her entire body. The surrounding giant birds also directly ignored Ouyang Qingxiang and did not pounce toward her. When Lu Ming pulled her small hand, Ouyang Qingxiang's delicate body began to tremble and her face turned red. However, in the next moment, her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. Because she realized that the giant birds were not pouncing toward her. They directly ignored her and pounced toward Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong. Ouyang Qingxiang was extremely surprised. She knew that all this was because of Lu Ming. Her curiosity toward Lu Ming grew even stronger. Let's go. Lu Ming held Ouyang Qingxiang's small hand and rushed into the canyon. Not a single giant bird stopped him. Damn it. How is this possible? Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong also noticed Lu Ming's strange behavior. It was simply unbelievable and they all roared. Lu Ming, stop right there. How dare you trick me? Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong roared. Their murderous intent was as cold as a knife. You guys have fun. I won't keep you company. Lu Ming smiled indifferently and continued to rush forward with Ouyang Qingxiang. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from Four-Eyed Hollow and the others' vision. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong roared again and again. Their murderous intent was as cold as a knife, but there was nothing they could do. Let's not fight with these giant birds. Save our strength and surround them. When that kid Lu Ming comes out, it will be his death. Four-Eyed Hollow said coldly. That's right. That kid dared to trick me. He's asking for it. Zhuo Budong's voice was also extremely cold. Immediately they stopped fighting with the giant birds and retreated. When they had retreated a certain distance, the giant birds stopped chasing and flew back to the canyon. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong stood guard nearby, waiting for Lu Ming to come out so that they could kill Lu Ming. After Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang broke into the flock of giant birds, their vision suddenly widened. In the canyon there was not a single giant bird. Those giant birds were only circling around the canyon entrance and above the canyon. As soon as Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang entered, their gazes were deeply attracted. In midair of the canyon, there was a ball of light suspended there, emitting a dazzling brilliance. Chapter 2904. A ball of light was floating in the canyon, emitting a dazzling radiance. Moreover, incomparably pure energy was constantly emitting from it. A star core fragment. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes were blazing. This was definitely a star core fragment. They had come to the right place. The two of them couldn't help but approach the star core fragment and finally see its full appearance. It was a crystal the size of a fingernail. It was sparkling and translucent. Although it was small in size, the energy it contained was incomparably terrifying, causing one's heart to tremble. It's so small. Lu Ming muttered. Kid, what do you know? A star core is the core of a star. The energy it contains is incomparably vast, but it's also incomparably pure and easy to absorb. It's a peerless treasure. Moreover, the star core here was forcefully refined by a great formation. Refining a star into a star core, the energy it contains is even more terrifying. Don't underestimate it. It's only a small piece, but it's enough for you to reach the heavenly God realm. The measure character formula's disdainful voice rang out. Then let's start, Lu Ming said. He could not wait any longer. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang immediately walked towards the star core fragment. The two of them sat down cross-legged and began to circulate their cultivation techniques to absorb the energy from the star core fragment. Lu Ming, I'll help you absorb it. It'll help you break through to the heavenly God realm faster. The measure character formula released a powerful suction force. The energy within the star core constantly surged towards Lu Ming. It was absorbed by the measure character formula and transformed into even purer energy that poured into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming circulated the Heaven and Earth 10,000 Tao Sutra with all his might, absorbing and refining the energy. The energy within the star core was extremely pure. Even without the measure character formula, he could quickly refine it. With the help of the measure character formula, the refining speed was naturally faster. A steady stream of energy was transformed into divine power. Lu Ming's divine power rapidly rose. The 6 divine flames in his dantian burned fiercely. Lu Ming was charging towards the heavenly God realm at an astonishing speed. On the other side, Ouyang Qingxiang was also circulating her cultivation technique to absorb the energy of the stellar core fragment. However, her absorption speed was far from being comparable to Lu Ming's. Just like that, they cultivated for 7 days. After 7 days, the fingernail-sized stellar core fragment was almost completely absorbed by the two of them, leaving only the size of a speck of dust. Boom. At this moment, a powerful aura erupted from Ouyang Qingxiang. She had broken through to the 6th level of the celestial God realm. Ouyang Qingxiang had just broken through to the 5th level of the heavenly God realm not long ago, and she had already reached the 6th level of the heavenly God realm. This was all thanks to the stellar core fragment. However, the amount of energy Ouyang Qingxiang absorbed was still far from Lu Ming's. At the same time, Lu Ming's aura rose to its peak. 6 types of God power surged, shining with dazzling light as they circulated around Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body was like a volcano that could erupt at any time. Boom. Finally, Lu Ming erupted. A shocking aura erupted from his body, and a powerful pressure spread out. This was the pressure of the heavenly God realm. Lu Ming's God power was of the divine grade. Moreover, he had 5 other types of God power. The amount of energy he needed to break through was much more than Ouyang Qingxiang's. At this moment, after absorbing the energy of the stellar core fragment, Lu Ming finally broke through the bottleneck and entered the heavenly God realm. As soon as he entered the heavenly God realm, Lu Ming's body emitted a powerful suction force. The energy of heaven and earth rushed towards Lu Ming even more violently. Poof! The last bit of the stellar core fragment let out a soft sound and completely shattered. It turned into energy and poured into Lu Ming's body. The moment the stellar core fragment shattered, the large birds around the canyon let out a cry and dispersed. All of them turned into energy and poured into Lu Ming's body. Their eyes were empty. Zhuobudian and the rest had been waiting outside the canyon for Lu Ming to come out so that they could kill Lu Ming. At this moment they suddenly saw the large birds disperse and were shocked. What's going on? That's Lu Ming, he's cultivating. Damn it, it must be the stellar core fragment. Lu Ming absorbed the stellar core fragment and caused the large birds to disperse. Kill him. When Four-Eyed Hollow Man and the rest saw Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang, they could easily guess what had happened based on the current situation. They roared furiously and their eyes turned red. They were simply envious and jealous. Kill. Zhuobudian was the most direct. With a cold shout, a terrifying sword intent burst out. He and his sword became one and turned into a dazzling sword light that slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming had absorbed the stellar core fragment. He wanted to grind Lu Ming's bones and scatter his ashes. The sword light was extremely fast and in the blink of an eye, it was close to Lu Ming. Lu Ming was at the critical moment of his breakthrough and was unable to resist. In fact, the current situation was beyond Lu Ming's expectations. He did not expect that the large birds would disperse after he absorbed the stellar core fragment. Green Lotus Sword Realm. Ouyang Qingxiang shouted and her delicate body emitted a dazzling green sword light. Green lotuses appeared in front of Lu Ming and thousands of sword chi slashed towards Zhuobudian. Clang, clang, Clang. The sword chi collided. In an instant, the sword chi from both sides had collided a few hundred times. After a few hundred times, the green lotuses dispersed and Zhuobuqian's body was blocked and stopped. You've broken through. Zhuobudian stared at Ouyang Qingxiang with an ugly expression. It must be the stellar core fragment. She must have absorbed the energy of the fragment. Damn it, damn it. Four-eyed emptiness rushed over and roared in anger. He was going crazy with jealousy. In his opinion, it was a waste for Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang to absorb the stellar core fragment. It would be great if he could absorb the stellar core fragment. He would definitely be able to reach level 7 or even level 8 Heavenly God. Then he would not be afraid of Mo Jui and could even suppress Mo Jui to become the #1 expert among the younger generation of the Mystic Academy. However, his hope was shattered by Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. So what if you've broken through? Kill. Zhuobudian roared and his sword light shone even brighter as he charged towards Ouyang Qingxiang. Let's attack together and get rid of this bitch. Then we'll kill Lu Ming. Four-eyed emptiness roared and attacked as well. Terrifying light beams shot out from his 4 eyes and charged towards Ouyang Qingxiang. Green Lotus Sword Realm. Ouyang Qingxiang roared again. The divine energy in her body was about to ignite. She unleashed all of her energy and formed a green lotus sword realm around herself and Lu Ming. Boundless sword chi gathered into a few giant green lotuses and enveloped the two of them, blocking the attacks from all directions. However, Ouyang Qingxiang's cultivation had just reached level 6 Heavenly God. She was no match for Four-Eyed Emptiness or Zhuobudian alone, let alone the two of them working together. The moment their attacks collided, the green lotuses trembled violently. Ouyang Qingxiang groaned and her body trembled. She spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Chapter 2905. Ouyang Qingxiang was sent flying. She fell to the ground with a pale face. Lu Ming. Ouyang Qingxiang exclaimed worriedly. You overestimate yourself. Lu Ming, go to hell. 4 pairs of eyes stared at Lu Ming. Their gazes were extremely cold. 4 destructive light beams burst forth and charged toward Lu Ming. If the beams hit, Lu Ming would surely die. At that instant, Lu Ming's eyes sprang open. His eyes flickered with a cold, murderous intent. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 spear glows were fired from Lu Ming's hands. They were brighter than meteors. The spear glows shuddered, and the 4 destructive beams of the Four-Eyed Hollow were dispersed. A cry of agony echoed across the place. Following it, blood splashed as a figure backed away rapidly. The figure was none other than the Four-Eyed Hollow. The Four-Eyed Hollow was roaring crazily as if he had gone mad. 2 of his eyes had disappeared, replaced by 2 bloody holes. The eyes of the Four-Eyed Hollow had been blinded by Lu Ming's attack. Lu Ming, you're courting death. I'm going to tear you into pieces. The Four-Eyed Hollow roared. Four-Eyed Hollow Master roared crazily. His body swelled up rapidly, turning into a giant worm. The worm was over 100 meters long. Its body was covered in disgusting tentacles. It was the Four-Eyed Hollow's true form. As a matter of fact, the true forms of the multi-eyed tribe were not the same race but different races. The Four-Eyed Hollow transformed into his true form and lunged at Lu Ming, unleashing his full strength. Kill? Lu Ming said coldly. His body expanded rapidly, turning into a green-armored ancient god. He swung his spear horizontally. A strong god force suppressed the Four-Eyed Hollow like a landslide. Bang! Lu Ming had now broken through to the first layer Heaven God realm, and even reached the peak of the first layer Heaven God realm. His god force was a lot stronger than before. The spear broke through the Four-Eyed Hollow's attack and defense and landed on his body. Four-Eyed Hollow's huge body was blasted away, and a section of its body exploded, sending flesh and blood flying everywhere. You're the one who will die. Lu Ming's cold voice rang out. With a single step he crossed 100 miles. His spear was like a shooting star as it pierced towards Four-Eyed Hollow. Ah, Zhuobudong, come and help me. Four-Eyed Hollow screamed in horror. At the same time he erupted his strength to the extreme to resist Lu Ming. Clang. With the sound of a sword chime, Zhuobudong made his move. The sword radiance was like the light of flying immortals, breaking through the void and chopping towards Lu Ming's head. Zhuobudong was not the only one. The other prodigies from the Mystic Academy and the invincible Kenzo also attacked Lu Ming at the same time. Lu Ming coldly snorted with a cold glint in his eyes. His left hand emitted a resplendent radiance as he punched towards Zhuobudian. The moment he punched, 3 nine-clawed dragons flew out from Lu Ming's left fist. This was the divine dragon Dharma Laksana. As Lu Ming continued to comprehend the divine dragon Dharma Laksana, his understanding of the divine dragon Dharma Laksana grew deeper and deeper. He was able to use it with greater ease. With one punch he could condense 3 divine dragon Dharma Laksana. The 3 divine dragon Dharma Laksana pounced towards Lu Ming. As for the other prodigy's attacks, Lu Ming ignored them and allowed them to attack him. Lu Ming's spear did not stop as he continued to stab Four-Eyed Hollow. Four-Eyed Hollow was shocked and furious. He unleashed all his strength and set up a series of defenses in front of him. However, when the spear pierced through, these defenses continuously shattered and exploded. Then Lu Ming's spear pierced through Four-Eyed Hollow's head, nailing him to the ground. Four-Eyed Hollow was still alive and was frantically struggling. On the other side, the 3 divine dragon Dharma Laksana blocked Four-Eyed Hollow's attacks. As for the other prodigies, their attacks landed on Lu Ming's body. However, they were only barely able to break through his defenses. They left shallow scars on Lu Ming's body, but to Lu Ming, they were no different from scratching an itch. "Ah, Lu Ming, don't kill me, don't kill me." Four-Eyed Hollow screamed in terror and began to beg for mercy. In truth, his strength was not that weak. If he had used his full strength to fight Lu Ming, there was no way he would have been so easily suppressed by Lu Ming. The main reason was that he had been caught off guard and blinded by Lu Ming. The eyes of the multi-eyed race were their vital points. Once they were blinded, it would greatly damage their strength. That was why he had been so easily suppressed by Lu Ming. "Die," Lu Ming said coldly. The Four-Eyed Empty Man had been trying to kill him. How could he let the Four-Eyed Empty Man off? The long spear shook, and a terrifying force burst forth, exploding from the Four-Eyed Empty Man's body. The Four-Eyed Empty Man's body was torn into pieces. Hollow's pupils shrank as he frantically retreated. "All of you stay here," Lu Ming shouted coldly. His long spear swept out with a force that could wipe out thousands of troops. A long spear light swept towards the Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo's prodigies. At the same time, a crescent-shaped spear light shot out. "Not good. Retreat." The Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo's prodigies' expressions changed as they frantically retreated. However, they were still a step too late. The spear smashed down and a few of the weaker ones' bodies directly exploded. A few of the stronger ones were also sent flying like cannonballs, crashing into a few mountain peaks, smashing them into pieces. All of them were heavily injured. Among the crowd, Zhuo Budong was the one who fared better. He continued to attack with his sword, and the sword light slashed on the crescent-shaped spear light, producing a violent roar. Although his sword light was also shattered, he borrowed the force of the collision and retreated 1,000 miles. Only a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. "This person is too terrifying. Retreat first." Without any hesitation, Zhuo Budong turned into a ray of sword light and sped away. "Stay here," Lu Ming shouted as he threw out the spear in his hand. The spear shot out like a bolt of lightning towards Zhuo Budong. Zhuo Budong's expression changed. A few thousand rays of sword light shot out from his hand and slashed towards the spear. Bang bang bang, the spear and sword light exploded together. In the end, all the sword light shattered. The spear light flashed and Zhuo Budong let out a blood-curdling scream. His abdomen was pierced by the spear and blood flowed out. He did not dare to stay any longer. Despite his injuries, he used all his strength to escape. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared. What a pity. Lu Ming did not chase after him. Zhuo Budong cultivated the sword. Sword cultivators not only had powerful attacks, but their speed was also astonishing. Now that he was fleeing, even if Lu Ming wanted to chase after him, he might not be able to. Lu Ming's gaze swept over the heavily injured geniuses of the Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo. Those geniuses' expressions all changed. Their faces were pale without the slightest trace of blood. They were all terrified. "Lu Ming, don't kill us. My senior apprentice brother Zhuo has already escaped. If you kill us, the Invincible Kenzo will not let you off." The geniuses of the Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo all shouted. They were all holy sons and they did not want to die here. "I can spare your lives if you swear on your life essence that you will be loyal to me in the future," Lu Ming coldly said. Chapter 2906. Swear allegiance to you on our life source? Don't even think about it, roared one of the Mystic Academy's prodigies. Poof. With a flash of the spear, that prodigy's forehead was pierced and he died on the spot. The other prodigies immediately kept quiet out of fear. If you say you're not willing, I'll immediately send you on your way. Who else? Lu Ming looked around. No one spoke. Lu Ming's methods were too ruthless. They didn't doubt that if they rejected Lu Ming, they would be killed by Lu Ming. I'll give you 10 breaths of time. After 10 breaths, if you still don't agree, I'll have to send you on your way. 10. 9. Lu Ming began the countdown. I agree. Me too. In the end, the prodigies of the Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo all agreed and swore allegiance to Lu Ming with their life source. Lu Ming smiled. The Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo had a total of 6 people. These were all chosens. After all, the Kongshen sect only had 7 chosens in total. Lu Ming had gained the allegiance of 6 saints in one go. These people would definitely be useful in the future. Alright, don't announce your relationship with me to the public. You're still the saints of the Mystic Academy and Invincible Kenzo. If I need you in the future, I'll naturally contact you. Go. With that, Lu Ming waved his hands, gesturing for everyone to leave. Yes. The 6 chosens bowed and nodded. Then their figures flashed and they left the place one after another. Lu Ming, you're getting stronger and stronger. With your current battle strength, you might be able to fight with the saints of the 3 overlord factions. Ouyang Qingxiang walked over, her face full of envy. Sorry, I absorbed so much energy from the stellar core fragment. Lu Ming smiled awkwardly. 90% of the stellar core fragment's energy had been absorbed by Lu Ming. I was the one who got the stellar core fragment because of you. I'm sorry. I'm already very lucky to have broken through 1 level after absorbing so much energy. Ouyang Qingxiang smiled. This planet is the closest to the star. There might be other star core fragments. Let's go look for them again. Lu Ming said. After finishing their discussion, Lu Ming collected the storage rings of Four-Eyed Empty Court and the others. Then he left with Ouyang Qingxiang. However, their luck seemed to have run out. Or perhaps there was only 1 stellar core fragment on this planet. In the next 5 or 6 days, they didn't find a second stellar core fragment. They also didn't encounter that kind of array plate. However, they had obtained quite a lot of precious metals. Lu Ming didn't hesitate to put them away. Rumble. Suddenly, a violent explosion came from one direction. At the same time, a terrifying force spread in this direction. These are divine force fluctuations. There are people fighting a great battle in that direction. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Such shocking fluctuations. The people fighting are very strong. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The 2 of them concealed their aura and headed in that direction. After traveling for at least 10,000 miles, the fluctuations in front of them became more intense. Gazing into the distance, he saw 3 figures entangled with one another, fighting one another fiercely. The fact that the energy fluctuations from the 3 of them could travel so far showed how strong they were. Divine grade divine force. It's them. Emojui Sword Dao Wuji Tsangyan Army Destroyer. Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes widened in shock. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The 3 people fighting in front of them were Emojui Sword Dao Wuji Tsangyan and Army Destroyer. However, the 3 of them didn't use their full strength. They were probably holding back, so the battle was difficult to determine. Below the 3 of them, there were other sky prides from the 3 overlord forces. In front of them there was a stone pagoda. It was 9 stories high and the door was tightly shut. Emojui Sword Dao Wuji Tsangyan and Army Destroyer should be fighting because of this stone pagoda. The 3 of them exchanged dozens of blows before they retreated and faced each other from afar. The 2 of you, everyone has a share. How about the 3 of us enter this stone pagoda together? Sword Dao Wuji's long hair fluttered in the wind. His sword chi soared into the sky like a sharp divine sword. You sure know how to take advantage of others. I found this stone pagoda first. Emojui snorted. His body was shrouded in black light as if he was in the dark night. So what if you found it first? You can't break the door of the stone pagoda alone. What's the use of that? In my opinion, we should work together to break the door of the stone pagoda and enter together. We'll fight for the treasures inside with our own abilities. That's the fairest way. Song Yen, Army Destroyer, shouted. His body was covered in scarlet armor and was covered in raging flames. The terrifying heat caused the space to distort. It was rumored that Song Yen, Army Destroyer, had the bloodline of the Scarlet Flame race. But no one knew if that was true or not. I agree with Brother Tsang Yan's suggestion. Sword Dao Wuji said. Emojui's expression was ugly. But in front of Sword Dao Wuji and Song Yan, there was nothing he could do. Sword Dao Wuji and Song Yan, Army Destroyer weren't any weaker than him. Alright then, it's decided. But before that, it seems there are two uninvited guests. Song Yin, army destroyer, and Lu Ming looked in the direction of Ouyang Qingxiang and Lu Ming. At the same time, Mo Jui and Sword Dao Wuji also looked over, a cold light flashing in their eyes. Lu Ming smiled. Divine sons had unfathomable methods. It was normal for them to discover them. Let's go out and meet a divine son. Lu Ming smiled. Since they had been discovered, there was no need to hide it. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang walked out side by side. Kid, it's you. At the sight of Lu Ming, Mo Jui's eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. A cold aura shrouded Lu Ming. He had chased Lu Ming to this planet to kill him. He hadn't thought that Lu Ming would escape. Now that he saw him again, his killing intent was incomparably strong. Lu Ming's gaze swept around, but he didn't see Zhuo Budong's figure. It seemed that Zhuo Budong still hadn't met Sword Dao Wuji and the others. Mo Jui naturally didn't know that Lu Ming had killed Four-Eyed Kong Ting. Kongshen School's Lu Ming, haha. Sword Dao Wuji sneered. The sword intent on his body also became incomparably cold. In the ancient god world, Lu Ming had killed one of the invincible Kenzo's holy sons. So Lu Ming was also on his must-kill list. So what if it's me? Lu Ming smiled and strode forward. His expression was indifferent, without the slightest fear. Very good, you still dare to come out. You're courting death. Now I'll send you on your way. Mo Jui's expression was sinister. Black light condensed into a pitch-black hand that grabbed at Lu Ming. Chapter 2907. Lu Ming snorted and did not retreat. He instantly activated the battle character art and quadrupled his battle strength. He executed the second style of the 3 strikes of extinction and slashed down with his spear. Ran. In W. Ran 1. Boom. The crescent-shaped spear light slashed down on Mo Jioye's pitch-black hand. The two sides collided and energy overflowed. Rumble. The crescent-shaped spear light trembled and finally exploded. Lu Ming's figure swayed and he retreated 6 or 7 steps. However, Mo Jioye's claw was also split in half. Mo Jioye's eyes narrowed. He was a little surprised. He did not expect Lu Ming to be able to block his attack. Although he had only casually executed that attack, its power was extremely shocking. Moreover, Lu Ming had not even used his ancient god body to block the attack. This made Mo Jioye's expression turn serious. Beside him, Jian Dao Wuji, Song Yin, and defeating armies were also surprised. Obviously, Lu Ming's battle strength had exceeded their expectations. So you've already broken through to the heavenly god realm. But do you think that you can fight me just because you've broken through? I'll let you know the difference between us. Mo Jioye's eyes were cold. His body emitted even more black light, turning the surrounding 10,000 meters into night. It was a pure night, a night without any light at all. Kill? Mo Jioye shouted coldly. His figure flashed and like a ghost he charged toward Lu Ming. The darkness around him quickly spread and enveloped Lu Ming. When Lu Ming was enveloped, he felt as if he had entered a bottomless abyss. There was no sound or light around him. Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air came from all directions. Pairs of pitch-black claws suddenly appeared and grabbed at Lu Ming. These claws were like a pair of ghost claws, emitting a disgusting stench. Sky Piercer. Lu Ming's god power surged. He unleashed the sky-piercing technique. The spear light was like a meteor, piercing towards the sharp claws, destroying them. However, as soon as those claws were destroyed, they would immediately reform and grab at Lu Ming. Ice chains? Lu Ming's heart shook and 9 ice chains flew out of his body. Each of them was tens of thousands of meters long, and they wrapped around the claws. As Lu Ming stepped into the heavenly deity realm, the power of the ice shackles also rose accordingly, becoming extremely astonishing. The terrifying coldness completely froze those ghost claws, and then exploded them. Lu Ming, you have some strength, but let's see how long you can last in my eternal night cage. 9-armed Demon King, come out. Mo Jioye's voice rang out in the dark night. Following that, a series of roars could be heard. Then, in the darkness of the night, 3 enormous creatures appeared. The 3 enormous creatures were covered in scales, and their mouths were wide open with sharp fangs. They actually had 9 arms like demons that had walked out from the abyss. This was the 9-armed Demon King that Mo Jioye had mentioned. Each of the 9-armed Demon King's arms held a weapon, and it roared as it charged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming executed the Divine Dragon Image technique, and 3 nine-clawed dragon images pounced out. At the same time he brandished his spear and charged forward. Swoosh, swoosh. The 9-armed demon king brandished its 9 weapons, and continuously slashed out. The 3 nine-clawed dragon images bore the brunt of the attack, and they were forced to retreat, with wounds appearing on their bodies. At this moment, Lu Ming's attack had also arrived, and the spear clashed with the 9-armed demon king's weapon. Clang, clang. A terrifying explosion rang out, but Lu Ming's expression changed. He could feel that the 9-armed demon king's power was shockingly strong, and he could not withstand it at all. His body trembled violently and he was forced to retreat. He almost vomited blood. The 3 nine-armed demon kings split into 3 different directions and charged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming, use your ancient god body. Let me see how strong you are. Emoji-Ye's voice rang out again. Since you want to see, I'll fulfill your wish. Lu Ming said and then executed the ancient god technique. His body rapidly collided, and he transformed into a green-armored ancient god that was a few hundred meters tall. Once he transformed into a green-armored ancient god, Lu Ming's strength skyrocketed. He brandished his spear and spear radiance burst out, charging towards the 9-armed demon king. The 9-armed demon king also brandished its weapon, but this time the 9-armed demon king was no match for Lu Ming, and it was forced to retreat. Kill? Lu Ming stared at one of the 9-armed demon kings and charged over. His attacks were like a violent storm, attacking the 9-armed demon king. Bang! The 9-armed demon king barely resisted a few moves, and Lu Ming's spear struck its head. The head of the 9-armed demon king exploded, and its entire body collapsed. After defeating one of the 9-armed demon kings, Lu Ming attacked the other 2 9-armed demon kings. Not long after, the remaining 2 9-armed demon kings were defeated. You have some strength. Come again. In my eternal night prison I am the master. Ah. Emoji laughed. The knight rolled and another 9-armed demon king walked out. This time there were a total of 9 9-armed demon kings, and they roared as they charged towards Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming transformed into a green-armored ancient god, and his fighting strength was extremely strong. After fighting with the 9-armed demon kings for a while, he defeated them one after another. Watch how I break your eternal night prison. Lu Ming shouted, and the spear in his hand grew rapidly. A shocking spear light shot up to the sky as if it could pierce through the sky. Boom. Emoji-Ye's eternal night prison had a limited range. The spear light pierced through the sky, and a hole was opened in the darkness, allowing light from outside to shine in. When the light shone on Emoji-Ye's eternal night prison, it was like ice meeting fire, and it melted away, disappearing into nothingness. When the darkness disappeared, Lu Ming and Emoji-Ye's figures were exposed. This is the green-armored ancient god body. Lu Ming has cultivated the green-armored ancient god body. Seeing Lu Ming's current state, Limitless Sword, Song Yan and Army Destroyer were shocked. He can even break Emoji-Ye's eternal night prison. His strength is really shocking. He's only a level 1 heavenly god. How can he have such strong fighting strength? Limitless Sword, Song Yan and Army Destroyer spoke one after another, their faces solemn. In their hearts, they had unknowingly regarded Lu Ming as an opponent of the same level. They were old rivals of Emoji-Ye, so they naturally knew about Emoji-Ye's secret skills. Even they would find it difficult to break Emoji-Ye's eternal night prison. As for the other sky prides of the 3 overlord forces, they were completely stunned. Emoji-Ye, the divine son of the Mystic Academy, stood at the peak of the younger generation in Qintian Star Field. Almost no one could defeat him. In the entire Qintian Star Field, there were only a few people who could be his opponent. Lu Ming could actually fight with Emoji. This was simply incredible. Emoji, is this all you've got? I heard that you've also cultivated the ancient god body. Use it or you're no match for me. Lu Ming shouted. Chapter 2908. Since you want to see it, I'll fulfill your wish. www. C. Emoji-Ye's face darkened as he roared. His body swelled rapidly as he turned into an ancient god. However, the scales on the surface of his ancient god body were orange. The orange-armored ancient god body and height were much shorter than Lu Ming's. However, Emoji's cultivation level was too high. He was a 6th-level celestial god and was much stronger than Lu Ming. With the support of his powerful cultivation level, His power was extremely terrifying. Boom. Yi took a step forward as his huge body charged toward Lu Ming. A huge black demonic saber appeared in his hand as he slashed at Lu Ming. Kill? Lu Ming roared as he charged toward Yi. Boom. 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 The two of them clashed fiercely, unleashing fierce attacks. This was the most direct collision and it was extremely intense. It was as if two giants were fighting fiercely. During this time both of them used all kinds of methods. Lu Ming continuously used the ice shackles, the divine dragon aspect art, and the three strokes of destruction. Yi also used various terrifying secret techniques and divine skills. One had to admit that Yi's battle strength was extremely strong. The two of them exchanged more than 100 moves, but it was still difficult to determine the victor. Yi's divine power was of the divine grade. Moreover, the divine skills and secret techniques that he cultivated were also very powerful. They were not any weaker than Lu Ming's divine power. Moreover, his cultivation was 5 layers higher than Lu Ming's. This was a 5th layer heavenly god realm. The difference was shocking. Lu Ming's advantage was the universe myriad Dao technique. He cultivated 6 divine fires, and his body was filled with 6 different types of divine power. However, Lu Ming's other 5 types of divine power were of the divine grade. 2 of them were of the divine grade while the other 3 were of the royal grade. The difference between saint and king grade divine powers was too great. Even if there were 5 types of divine powers combined, the gap wouldn't be too great. Lu Ming estimated that his current strength was barely comparable to a 3rd level heavenly god Yi, or perhaps even weaker. Lu Ming's other advantage was the quadruple combat strength of the battle formula and the green-armored ancient god body. Only with all these advantages added together would he be able to fight Yi. The battle prowess of the two was evenly matched. In the blink of an eye they had exchanged over 100 moves. Terrifying. How can this Lu Ming be so terrifying? Unbelievable. I've never heard of his name before. I can't believe he's so strong. The Kongshan school actually has such a genius. Things are going to change in the future. The other geniuses of the 3 overlord factions could not calm their hearts. Even Sword Dao Wuji, Song Yen and defeating armies had grave expressions on their faces. Clang, clang. Sword Dao Wuji in particular, constantly emitted sword hums from his body. He was like a divine sword, his sword intent soaring to the heavens, ready to strike at any moment. However, he held back. After all, he was a divine son. If he joined forces with Yi to attack Lu Ming, he would lose face. Boom, boom. The battle between Lu Ming and Yi was still ongoing. The more they fought, the more intense it became. Poof. Yi's saber light landed on Lu Ming's body. Green scales scattered and deep wounds appeared on Lu Ming's body. At the same time, Lu Ming's long spear also landed on Yi's body. Yi staggered and a large part of his body exploded. Flesh and blood flew everywhere. It was a horrible sight. However, the two had no intention of stopping. They were still fighting fiercely, and their battle intent was getting stronger. The others held their breaths and watched with wide eyes. They wanted to see who would win between Lu Ming and Yi. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming brandished his long spear like a dragon. The first and second forms of the 3 strikes of annihilation were executed consecutively by Lu Ming. This was also because of the support of the quantifying character formula. Otherwise, it would have been difficult to sustain. It was also because of these conditions that Lu Ming could unleash such a powerful battle strength. Otherwise, a 1st level heavenly god wouldn't have such battle strength. Although Yi was only a 6th level heavenly god, his battle strength was enough to kill an 8th level heavenly god. He could even fight a 9th level heavenly god. In other words, Lu Ming was only a 1st level heavenly god, but he could fight a 9th level heavenly god. It was a miracle. 3 strikes of annihilation, 3 strikes of annihilation. Up until now, Lu Ming's mind was unusually calm. He was enjoying such a great battle and absorbing experience from it. His comprehension of the 3 strikes of annihilation was getting deeper. He had a feeling that the 3 strikes of annihilation were about to achieve a breakthrough. He had cultivated the 3 strikes of annihilation to the peak of the 6th layer for a long time. After such a long period of training, his comprehension of the 3 strikes of annihilation was extremely deep. After an intense battle with Yi, he had a feeling that he was about to achieve a breakthrough. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged another few dozen blows. Buzz. Suddenly Lu Ming swung his long spear. The long spear vibrated vigorously, and a crescent-shaped spear ray was fired. Its power was stronger than before. Breakthrough. The 3 strikes of annihilation had reached the 7th layer. Each layer of the divine skill would increase its power tremendously. The crescent-shaped spear ray collided with Mo Jioye's saber ray, causing the latter's saber ray to vibrate vigorously. How is this possible? Mo Jioye's expression changed drastically, revealing a look of disbelief. How could Lu Ming's attack improve at such a crucial moment? Bang! Mo Jioye's body shuddered. He took a few steps back before stabilizing himself. Ha 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 again. Lu Ming laughed as he brandished his long spear. The breakthrough of the 3 strikes of annihilation had made it easier for him to use them. Moreover, the breakthrough of the 3 strikes of annihilation had allowed him to use the 3rd move. Of course, this required time to cultivate. Lu Ming had yet to cultivate, so naturally he could not use it. However, the power of the first move, Sky Piercer, and the second move, Moon Slashing, had increased tremendously. Bang! Bang! The situation had completely changed. Lu Ming's attack power had suddenly increased, completely suppressing Mo Jioye. Mo Jioye roared as he tried his best. However, he was still no match for Lu Ming. He was forced to retreat. For a moment he could only parry and could not fight back. Originally he and Lu Ming's battle power were on par. Now that Lu Ming had a breakthrough in his divine skill, the balance had tipped. This Lu Ming is so talented. He actually managed to break through his divine skill in the middle of a battle. Jindao Wuji's eyes flashed with astonishment. Such talent is of course terrifying. Song Yan and defeating armies licked their lips. Their eyes were filled with shock and battle intent. They were also peerless geniuses. However, it was their first time encountering someone like Lu Ming. Such a person cannot be allowed to live. Otherwise, there will be no place for us in the Qintian star field in the future. Jindao Wuji's eyes flashed with a cold light. Jindao Wuji, are you thinking of joining forces with Mo Jioye? I can't do such a thing. If you want to fight, let's fight fair and square. Song Yan and defeating army said disdainfully. Chapter 2909. If you won't attack, then I'll. Limitless Sword Dao coldly said. His sword intent suddenly soared, and a resplendent sword light slashed at Lu Ming. Waranwan? W? 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 Ranwan A? Calm. The sword light was tens of thousands of meters long, and its pressure was like a mountain. Boundless sword chi was extremely terrifying. Limitless Sword Dao immediately used his killing move. Mo Jioye's eyes brightened, and he immediately attacked Lu Ming with his full strength. You're despicable. Not far away, Ouyang Qingxiang shouted. But with her strength, she could only worry. She couldn't interfere. Moon severing, moon severing. At this time, Lu Ming's left hand took out another spear. With a spear in each hand, he used moon severing at the same time. One attack was aimed at Limitless Sword Dao, the other at Mo Jioye. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming's attack collided with Mo Jioye's and the Limitless Sword Dao's attacks at the same time, resulting in a terrifying explosion. Lu Ming gave a muffled snort and his body trembled. A powerful force surged toward him from both sides. Limitless Sword Dao controlled divine-grade divine energy. At the same time he cultivated the Sword Dao, so his attack power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming could feel tiny sword auras drilling into his body continuously, slashing at the scales on his body. Sparks flew in all directions. Lu Ming's expression changed. His body rapidly spun, and he escaped from Mo Jioye and Limitless Sword Dao's encirclement. Then his divine energy surged out, destroying the sword chi on his body. Boom. Boom. Limitless Sword Dao and Mo Jioye stepped forward, their powerful auras pressing down on Lu Ming. Very good. The two of you want to work together? Then come. Even if I die, I'll drag one of you down with me. Who should I drag? Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly, revealing a sinister killing intent. He constantly swept his gaze over Limitless Sword Dao and Mo Jioye. Limitless Sword Dao and Mo Jioye's expressions both changed and they stopped. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. The effect of this move was pretty good. Back then he had used this move to scare off Four-Eyed Empty Court and Zhuo Budong. Now he was using the same trick again to scare off Mo Jioye and the Sword Dao Wuji. Of course, this was also because his battle prowess was strong, that this move was effective. If his battle prowess was not up to par with either Mo Jioye or Limitless Sword Dao, then the two of them could easily kill Lu Ming if they worked together. Then this move would be useless. The main reason was that Lu Ming's strength was extremely shocking. In a one-on-one battle he could suppress Mo Jioye. If he really went all out he could really drag someone down with him. That was why they were afraid. This fellow is just trying to scare us. I don't believe he'll really risk his life. Emoji roared. He really wanted to kill Lu Ming. You guys are joining forces to kill me, so why shouldn't I fight back? Ridiculous. Lu Ming sneered. Emoji was at a loss for words. That was indeed the case. Since he was about to die, how could he not give it his all? Come on, it's not bad to drag a divine child down with us. Lu Ming shouted, his battle intent surging. Limitless Sword Dao didn't move. He really was a bit apprehensive. If Lu Ming went all out and took him down with him, it really wouldn't be worth it. Hadn't Lu Ming just killed a divine child of the invincible Kenzo? What did that have to do with him? If Lu Ming was weak and he could kill him with a flip of his hand, then he would naturally kill Lu Ming. That way he would be able to gain fame and win people's hearts. But now that Lu Ming's strength was enough to threaten his life, he had to reconsider. Haha, Lu Ming, you're overthinking it. I just wanted to test your strength when I saw your battle. Your strength is truly shocking. I admire you. If you want to fight, then continue. I won't disturb you. Limitless Sword Dao laughed and withdrew his sword intent. He retreated 100 miles, leaving the battlefield to Lu Ming and Emoji. This fellow really is a hypocrite. Emoji clenched his teeth, his expression ugly. Emoji, do you want to continue? Lu Ming stared at Emoji. Lu Ming, I'll let you off today. The mountains are high and the rivers are long. We'll fight again in the future. Emoji spat out those words and also retreated, putting some distance between him and Lu Ming. If he were to continue fighting with Lu Ming alone, he would feel a little guilty. Lu Ming smiled faintly and didn't continue fighting with Emoji. First of all, with his strength, although he could suppress Emoji, it wasn't very likely that he could kill him. Second of all, Limitless Sword Dao and Song Yan were watching him. If he was injured, he didn't doubt that Limitless Sword Dao would take the opportunity to eliminate him. Now wasn't the time for a battle. The scene of 4 experts facing off against each other appeared. The others felt complicated. In the past, the Qintian 13 sects had Limitless Sword Dao, Emoji, Song Yan, and Song Yan. Now they knew that the Qintian 13 sects would have 4 experts, and Lu Ming would be one of them. It's good to have one more person. Let's do what we did before. We'll work together and break open the door. If there are treasures inside, we'll rely on our own abilities. How about it? Song Yan said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. Then let's do it. Song Yan said, his body emitting a scorching aura as he punched out. His fist energy was incomparably hot, like a ball of magma, and it blasted towards the door. Clang. Whoosh. Sword Dao Wuji Emoji, and Lu Ming also attacked the door of the stone pagoda. The stone tower looked very old, as if it would collapse at any moment. However, when their attacks landed on the door, it only shook violently and didn't explode. What are you guys standing there for? Attack together. Emoji looked at the other sky prides of the Mystic Academy. The faces of those geniuses changed. Then they all attacked together, attacking the stone pagoda door. At the same time, the sky prides of the invincible Kenzo, Boundless Sacred Ground, and Ouyang Qingxiang attacked together. Their attacks continuously blasted towards the door. Rumble. The door of the stone tower shook continuously. After a while, a crack appeared on the door. Success. Continue. Limitless Sword Dao's eyes lit up as he attacked even more vigorously. Rays of resplendent sword chi continuously slashed towards the door. Crack. Crack. More and more cracks appeared on the door. Not long after, the door exploded. Behind the door was a spacious hall. Through the door, one could clearly see an altar in the middle of the hall. Above the altar, there were 3 bronze array plates floating. Array plates, 3 array plates. Lu Ming and the others' eyes lit up, emitting a blazing light. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Lu Ming, Limitless Sword Dao, Song Yan, Junpe, and Emoji all rushed into the hall at the same time. The hall was very spacious. There was nothing else in it except for the altar and the 3 array plates. The array plates are mine. Emoji formed a large hand and grabbed at the 3 array plates. Chapter 29:10. Emoji grabbed the 3 formation plates. His appetite was very big and he wanted to take all 3 of them. W. Scram. Scram. Limitless Sword Dao and Song Yan defeating armies shouted and attacked at the same time. A terrifying sword light and a scorching fist energy shot towards Emoji. Emoji's expression changed. He could only block with all his strength. But how could he fight two people at once? He was forced to retreat. As Emoji was pushed back, the everlasting sword Dao and Sang Yenjun moved and each grabbed an array plate. On the other side, Lu Ming also grabbed a formation plate. At almost the same time, the three of them each grabbed a formation plate and retreated. The three formation plates were divided between the three of them. Damn it, you guys. Seeing this, Emoji's face turned ugly. His appetite had been too big, and he had wanted to take all three formation plates for himself. He had been forced back by Limitless Sword Dao and Sang Yen defeating armies. He hadn't expected that he wouldn't have a share of the formation plates. Lu Ming, Limitless Sword Dao, Sang Yen, and defeating armies had taken the formation plates. He was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. At this moment, everyone's gazes simultaneously turned towards the outside of the main hall. That was because there was a dazzling light outside the hall. The few of them rushed out of the main hall and saw that in the distant sky, there were many brilliant halos shining. That was clearly the brilliance of the galaxy formation. What's going on? Why is the galaxy's grand formation suddenly shining? It hasn't been like this before. Could it be that the God Kings outside are attacking the formation again? Some people guessed. That shouldn't be possible. Those God Kings already sent us in. They know we're inside, so they won't attack the formation rashly. They also won't allow others to attack the formation. Someone said, and the others agreed. This galaxy's grand formation was mysterious and unfathomable. No one knew what kind of danger would arise if they attacked it from the outside. If they attacked from the outside and caused the Sky Prides who had entered the galaxy to die, it would be a great loss. How could those sect masters and eminent elders do that? Could it be that all 12 formation plates have been taken by someone else? That's why it's strange? Someone guessed. That's possible. It's very possible. Just now, senior brother Jiandao and the others were fighting for the formation plates. An invincible Kenzoish genius shouted. Many people nodded. This was the most likely reason. It was very likely that all 12 array plates had been obtained by someone else, and that was why the galactic array was acting strangely. You guys go take a look. You too. Limitless Sword, Emoji, and the others each sent a few geniuses to take a look first. Those people flew out of the galaxies outside the galaxy's grand formation. As for the others, they waited there quietly. Lu Ming had already returned to his human form. He stood by the side with Ouyang Qingxiang and waited. Soon, 7 days had passed and the young men who had gone out previously returned. What's going on? Emoji was the first to ask. Senior brother, the formation masters outside speculate that all the formation plates have been taken by someone else. That's why it's strange. Everyone can go out now. One of the Mystic Academy's geniuses replied. Indeed. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Emoji snorted and glanced at Lu Ming with an unfriendly gaze. Then he led the Mystic Academy's geniuses and flew into the sky, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Let's go too. Limitless Sword shouted. Then he and the invincible Kenzoish geniuses turned into streaks of sword light and shot into the sky. Brother Sang Yen, wait. Just as Sang Yen and defeating armies were about to move, Lu Ming called out. Lu Ming, why did you call me? Do you want to spar with me? Sang Yen and defeating armies stopped and stared at Lu Ming in confusion. Forget about the spar. Brother Sang Yen, are you interested in the formation plates? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Of course I'm interested. What do you want? Sang Yen and defeating armies were even more confused. I have 2 formation plates here. How about I sell them to you? Lu Ming's palm glowed, and 2 formation plates appeared in his palm. Sell them to me? This time it wasn't just Sang Yen and defeating armies. The other geniuses of the boundless sacred ground, including Ouyang Qingxiang, widened their eyes and looked at Lu Ming in astonishment. However, Lu Ming was the one who had obtained the 2 formation plates. Ouyang Qingxiang naturally wouldn't say anything about what Lu Ming wanted to do with them. She suppressed the doubts in her heart and didn't say anything. You really want to sell them to me? Sang Yen and defeating armies asked again. He was truly confused. One had to know that these formation plates were what the sect leaders and eminent elders wanted. Only with these formation plates could they enter this galaxy and fight for the stellar core. As long as they handed over the formation plates, they would definitely be rewarded handsomely. Lu Ming actually wanted to sell the formation plates to him? He had 10,000 doubts in his heart. Of course it's true. You can exchange it with precious metal materials. Of course, divine crystals are also acceptable. Lu Ming smiled. He didn't even want to bring the formation plates out and give them to the Dragon Mountain. According to Bone Devil's speculation, the Dragon Mountain would definitely have great uses for the Stellar Core. The Dragon Mountain had great uses for it, but to Lu Ming, it was a great disadvantage. Why would Lu Ming give the formation plates to the Dragon Mountain? Selling them to Tsang Yin and defeating armies now was the most cost-effective. Alright you guys. Take out all the metal-attributed materials you have and hand over the formation plates. We'll split the rewards equally. Tsang Yin and defeating armies looked at the immeasurable sacred ground sky prides. Immediately, the immeasurable sacred ground sky prides took out all the rare and precious metal materials they had obtained in this galaxy and piled them into a pile. Brother Lu, these metal materials and 100 million mid-grade divine crystals in exchange for your 2 formation plates. What do you think? Tsang Yin and defeating armies looked at Lu Ming with some apprehension. To be honest, the price he offered was too low. If they took the 2 formation plates out, the rewards they would receive would definitely be much higher. Alright. Lu Ming didn't mind. He would sell as much as he could. It was better than giving them to the Dragon Mountain. Tsang Yin and defeating armies were overjoyed. They handed the metal-attributed materials and 100 million mid-grade divine crystals to Lu Ming. Lu Ming also gave the 2 formation plates to Tsang Yin and defeating armies. Ha Lu Ming, I'll accept this favor. See you another day. Tsang Yin and defeating armies laughed heartily. They were in an extremely good mood. Then they left with the immeasurable sacred ground sky prides. Qingxiang, keep this matter a secret for me for the time being. Lu Ming said to Ouyang Qingxiang. Of course he couldn't let the Dragon Mountain know about this. Alright. Although Ouyang Qingxiang was puzzled, she still nodded. Then the 2 of them soared into the sky and left the place. After some time they left the galaxy. Outside the galaxy, the sect masters of the Qin Heavenly 13 sects and the other divine kings were waiting anxiously. Chapter 29:11. When Lu Ming and the others came out, they saw that the other sect's geniuses had all come out and gathered around their sect leaders. Some of the sect leaders had gloomy expressions. For example, some of the weaker sects hadn't obtained any formation plates. Without a formation plate, it was equivalent to losing the qualifications to compete for star cores. Lu Ming scanned the area and saw a few God King experts from the Longhaoshan sect and the Kongshen sect. Lu Ming flew over and saw that the Holy Sun, Fuko Seiko, and the others had already gathered around the Dragon Mountain. This Lu Ming is really lucky. The Holy Sun's expression was extremely gloomy when he saw Lu Ming. Lu Ming coldly swept his gaze over the Holy Sun, Fuko Seiko, and the others, causing Fuko Seiko, Holy Sun Ji Xia, and the others to break out in cold sweat. However, Lu Ming didn't make a move here, nor did he say that the Holy Sun had colluded with Mo Jiaoyi to kill him. The Holy Sun of the Holy Sun clan was also here. Lu Ming knew that even if he said the truth now, he wouldn't be able to kill the Holy Sun clan. In that case he might as well not say anything. When there was a chance in the future he would naturally get rid of the Holy Sun clan. Lu Ming, how many formation plates did you obtain? At the sight of Lu Ming, Longhaoshan looked over with a hopeful expression. Sect leader, this disciple is useless. This time I didn't obtain a single formation plate. Lu Ming pretended to cup his fists, revealing an ashamed expression. You didn't obtain one? Don't try to lie to me. The Dragon Mountain's expression sank, and a trace of gloominess flashed in his eyes. Lu Ming, you're lying. You obtained 1 formation plate on the first planet. You actually dare to lie to the sect leader? How dare you? The Holy Sun berated loudly. When they had entered the first planet he had competed with Lu Ming. He had personally seen Lu Ming obtain a formation plate. Hearing Sovereign of Universe's words, Longhaoshan's gaze turned even darker as he looked at Lu Ming. That's right. In the beginning I obtained an array plate. I was going to give it to the sect leader, but someone colluded with the Mystic Academy's Mo Jiaoyi to frame me. I was being chased by Mo Jiaoyi, so in order to save my life I gave the array plate to Mo Jiaoyi. Otherwise I would be dead. Lu Ming began to spout nonsense, and at the same time, he also turned the tables and looked coldly at the Sovereign of Universe. Don't slander me. Who colluded with Mo Jiaoyi? Autarch Cosmos Supremacy's face darkened as he bellowed. I'm not talking about you. Why are you so nervous? Lu Ming said indifferently. You. Supreme Universe Master was at a loss for words. However, in his heart he did believe Lu Ming's words. Back when Mo Jiaoyi had chased after Lu Ming, perhaps it was just as Lu Ming had said. Lu Ming had used an array plate in exchange for his life. Therefore he did not refute. Sect leader, if you don't believe me, I can swear that I don't have an array plate on me. Lu Ming said Dandan. Even if he swore on his life source, he was not afraid because he really did not have an array plate on him. Long Zhoushan's face turned ugly. If he did not have an array plate, he would not be able to enter the nebula array and participate in the competition for the star core. This time the star core was very important to his plan. Haha, sect leader, Lu Ming and the rest did not get an array plate, but I got one. Autarch Cosmos Supremacy laughed. You got one? Long Zhoushan's eyes lit up. That's right. Sect leader, please take a look. Long Zhoushan's hand flashed and an array plate appeared. He then looked at Lu Ming proudly. Haha, one is enough. Long Zhoushan laughed happily and waved his hand, grabbing the array plate. Autarch Cosmos Supremacy, you're not bad. This time I will reward you handsomely. Thank you, sect leader. Autarch Cosmos Supremacy bowed and looked at Lu Ming provocatively. This guy actually got an array plate. Lu Ming curled his lips and was speechless. He had sold the array plate to Tsang Yen and Pajun because he did not want Long Zhoushan to compete for the star core. He did not expect Autarch Cosmos Supremacy to get an array plate. Whoosh. Suddenly, a ray of light shot out from not far away and rushed towards the nebula array. It was the Dean of the Mystic Academy. He could not wait to rush towards the nebula array. The other sect leaders and divine kings who had gotten their hands on the array plates also rushed towards the nebula array. Long Zhoushan's body flashed and appeared in the middle of the nebula array. He continued to fly towards the core of the nebula array. He was so fast that Lu Ming did not even know how he left. There were a total of 12 array plates, which meant that 12 powerful elites had rushed into the nebula array. With the array plates, the nebula array did not seem to be affected. Boom. In just a few breaths, there was a terrifying roar in the depths of the nebula array. Rays of dazzling divine light shot out and lit up the universe. The divine kings are fighting. Someone exclaimed with bright eyes. It was obvious that the battle for the star core had begun. There must be a terrifying battle in the depths of the nebula array. Boom. Boom. The roar in the depths of the star core became more intense. Rays of divine light of different colors shone in all directions. Even though everyone was standing outside the nebula array, they could still feel the slight vibrations in the space. It was definitely terrifying. They were standing outside the nebula array. If they could feel the vibrations even though they were a nebula array, it showed how intense the battle was. The terrifying battle between the divine kings could destroy a planet. It was not just for show. The battle continued for a while. Suddenly, everyone saw a ray of light shooting out from the nebula array at a shocking speed. Behind this ray of light, there were other rays of light that were chasing after it. Could it be that the victor has been decided and the star core has been obtained? The thought flashed through everyone's mind. They could not help but open their eyes wide, wanting to know who had obtained the star core. The ray of light was extremely fast. In a few breaths, it had flown out of the nebula array. Dragon Mountain. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The ray of light that was flying at the front was Dragon Mountain. Dragon Mountain, hand over the star core. Don't you dare take the star core for yourself. Behind them, there were roars of anger that shook the universe. It was Dragon Mountain who had obtained the star core. Swoosh. Dragon Mountain did not say anything. He pushed his speed to the limit and arrived beside Lu Ming and the others in an instant. Let's go. Dragon Mountain waved his hand and a wave of divine force wrapped around Lu Ming and the others as they flew into the distance. The other divine kings of the Kongshan school followed closely behind Dragon Mountain. Chase after them. Don't let them get away. Chase after them. Behind them, the sect leaders of the three overlords roared as they led the experts under them to chase after Dragon Mountain. Furthermore, the experts of the other sects also chased after them. Dragon Mountain brought Lu Ming and the others with him as they flew at an incredible speed. Planets flew past them continuously. Chapter 29:12. Not long after, they arrived at a nearby teleportation array. Long Zhoushan led them into the teleportation array and arrived at a star near the mysterious Kongshan planet. Then they flew towards the mysterious Kongshan planet. Activate the Astral Guardian Array. As soon as Long Zhoushan arrived at the Kongshan school, his voice echoed throughout the entire Kongshan school. Sect leader, it's the sect leader. The sect leader has given the order to activate the Astral Guardian Array. Activate the array. The entire Kongshan school was filled with voices. Powerful auras soared into the sky. In the next moment, pillars of light shot up from different parts of the Kongshan school. There were a total of 360 pillars of light scattered in different parts of the mysterious Kongshan planet. These were the foundations of the array. Each of the 360 pillars of light was tens of thousands of miles wide. They intersected in the sky and formed a huge array that enveloped the entire mysterious Kongshan planet. This was the Star Protection Array. It was similar to the Mountain Protection Array of the sects that Lu Ming had encountered in the past. However, this array was many times more powerful. It could shroud an entire planet. In fact, powerful factions like the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Ice Soul race, and the Scarlet Flame race all had their own Astral Guardian Array to protect their main planet. After the Astral Guardian Array was activated, the teleportation array that Lu Ming and the others had just come out of lit up. Then the sect leaders of the three overlords and other experts arrived. They flew towards the mysterious Kongshan planet and stood outside of it. Long Zhoushan, hand over the star core. The Mystic Academy's dean roared and attacked. A huge palm formed and covered at least a few million miles and slammed down on the mysterious Kongshan planet. Boom. The huge palm slammed into the array. The array lit up and a terrifying divine light burst out, resisting the Mystic Academy's dean's palm. In the end, the Mystic Academy's dean's palm was riddled with holes and dissipated in the air. Seeing that the Winged Demon Academy's dean's attack had been blocked, the other members of the Kongshan school heaved sighs of relief. Long Haoshan, hand over the star core. Do you think a single formation can stop so many of us? The dean of the Mystic Academy said angrily. All members of the sect, pay attention. Use all of your power to activate the spell formation. My mission for you is to defend it for half a month. After half a month, I have a way to repel the enemy. You may go. Lu Ming, stay behind. Long Haoshan commanded. Soon after, the God King Realm experts, Autarch Cosmos Sovereign, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others all left one after another, leaving only Lu Ming and Dragon Zhoushan. Outside the formation, the Dean of the Mystic Academy roared angrily and launched another attack. In addition, the invincible Kenzo Sect Master, the immeasurable Sacred Land Master, and the other God Kings had also launched their attacks. One after another, terrifying attacks rained down on Kongshan Star. Each of these attacks was terrifying to the extreme. Lu Ming felt that each of these attacks could turn him into ashes, leaving nothing behind. Lu Ming, follow me. Long Haoshan waved his sleeves and brought Lu Ming to a certain place in the Kongshan school. They're finally going to act. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Now that Lu Ming had broken through to the heavenly god realm, Lu Ming guessed that Long Haoshan was about to act. Gu Mo guessed that Long Haoshan's physical body had already been taken over by another powerful existence, and that existence's main body was being suppressed by the Rising Dragon formation. Long Haoshan's goal was to rescue his main body. Soon after, they arrived at a place. The Nether Dragon's secret realm. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This was the entrance to the Nether Dragon's secret realm. Back then, Lu Ming had obtained the measure formula in the Nether Dragon's secret realm. Could it be that the Rising Dragon formation that Long Haoshan spoke of was in the Nether Dragon's secret realm? Lu Ming's guess was correct. Long Haoshan brought Lu Ming into the Nether Dragon's secret realm with a single step. After entering the Nether Dragon's secret realm, they flew in a certain direction. Soon after, they arrived in front of a huge mountain range. This mountain range was extremely huge, as if a divine dragon was lying on the ground. Boom! Long Haoshan suddenly attacked. With a wave of his hand, a ray of divine light slashed towards the mountain range. Just as the divine light was about to hit the mountain range seemed to come alive, transforming into a divine dragon that soared into the sky and disappeared into the firmament. Following that, a light screen appeared in the area of the mountain range, blocking Long Haoshan's divine light. From afar, it looked like a light screen that covered the ground. Rising Dragon formation. Long Haoshan muttered, his eyes burning with anticipation. It really is the Rising Dragon formation. There's definitely a powerful existence suppressed in this formation. My guess was right. The Bone Demon's voice sounded in Long Zhoushan's mind. Of course, he was communicating with his soul. Furthermore, the Bone Demon's control was very subtle, so Long Haoshan didn't notice. Long Haoshan, why did you bring me here? Lu Ming asked, even though he already knew the answer. Haha, of course I'm lending it to you. The Nether Dragon blood curse that I've been accumulating in your body for so long can finally be put to use. Long Haoshan laughed. His laughter was filled with incomparable savagery and madness. Following that, Long Haoshan's hands rapidly formed seals. At the same time, a dazzling light exploded from Lu Ming's body. Then numerous black runes spread out like small snakes. The Nether Dragon Blood Curse had been activated. Countless black runes covered Lu Ming's body. Go in. Long Haoshan waved his hand and Lu Ming flew towards the Rising Dragon Formation. Buzz. When Lu Ming neared the Rising Dragon Formation shook and emitted rays of light that rushed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming was shocked. He felt that the rays of light contained a terrifying power that could destroy everything. Lu Ming himself definitely couldn't withstand it. However, at this time, the black Nether Dragon Blood Curse on Lu Ming's body seemed to have come alive. It extended from Lu Ming's body and entangled with the rays of light from the Rising Dragon Formation. It was like a battle between living creatures. On the other hand, Lu Ming's figure successfully entered the Rising Dragon Formation. Haha, the Nether Dragon Blood Curse is indeed able to restrain the Rising Dragon Formation. I'm finally free, I'm finally free. Long Haoshan laughed maniacally, venting his emotions. It was as if he had gone mad. Following that, Long Haoshan formed seals again. The Nether Dragon Blood Curse on Lu Ming's body shone brightly. Then a terrifying suction force appeared. At this moment, Lu Ming's blood, essence, chi, and spirit all rushed towards the Nether Dragon Blood Curse as if they were going to be devoured by it. Long Haoshan, you said that you wouldn't harm my life. If you continue like this, I won't be able to hold on. Lu Ming roared. Chapter 29:13. Haha, Lu Ming, you're really naive. If I don't sacrifice you to the Nether Dragon Blood Curse, how can I break the Soaring Dragon Formation? How can I break free? Lu Ming, rest in peace. If you can help me break free, you'll die a worthy death. Ah. Long Haoshan laughed maniacally and sped up his hand seals. The Nether Dragon Blood Curse on Lu Ming's body grew like wild grass. Countless small snakes extended out from Lu Ming's body. After these little snakes extended out, they entangled with the Soaring Dragon Formation, firmly entangling the Soaring Dragon Formation. Then, a gap was actually opened in the Soaring Dragon Formation. A passage appeared where the Nether Dragon Blood Curse was entangled. At this moment, a roar came from the depths of the Soaring Dragon Formation. This was the roar of a dragon. It carried a terrifying pressure that made Lu Ming's heart tremble. Divine Dragon, the Soaring Dragon Formation is trapping a divine dragon. Long Haoshan's body is a divine dragon. Guo shouted. Lu Ming's face also changed. He didn't expect that the existence occupying Long Haoshan's body was actually a divine dragon. Could it be the Nether Dragon of the Divine Dragons? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. The Nether Dragon was an extremely rare divine dragon. However, it was an extremely terrifying existence. Every one of them had shocking strength. Dragon roars came from the depths of the Soaring Dragon Formation. They were filled with excitement. Haha, I'm about to break free. In the future, the Qintian Starfield will be my world. Long Haoshan laughed and stepped into the passage opened by the Soaring Dragon Formation. If the Soaring Dragon Formation hadn't been opened, Long Haoshan definitely wouldn't have been able to enter. Now that the Nether Dragon Blood Curse had opened up a path in the Rising Dragon Formation, he could pass through the formation and help his main body escape. Then he could use the Stellar Core to recover his strength to his peak. Once he recovered to his peak, no one in the Qintian Starfield would be his match. Lu Ming, you really are my lucky star. Long Zhoushan walked towards Lu Ming and sneered. Lu Ming now. At this moment, Bone transmitted a message to Lu Ming. Really? Am I really your lucky star? Lu Ming looked at Long Haoshan with a sneer. Lu Ming waved his hand and a disc array flew out from Lu Ming's hand. This array disc was something that Lu Ming had asked Wuxia to refine. Before Lu Ming went to the dim light celestial river, Wuxia had already refined it and handed it to Lu Ming. As soon as the disc array flew out, it rapidly expanded and floated above Lu Ming's head. At the same time, it emitted countless rays of light that faintly resonated with the Rising Dragon Formation. Bang, bang, bang. Just at this moment, the Nether Dragon Blood Curse on Lu Ming's body began to explode. It was like it was being crushed by some kind of energy. At the same time, the amount character art continuously poured energy into Lu Ming's body, allowing Lu Ming's divine energy to remain at its peak. What's going on? What's going on? Long Zhoushan's eyes widened in disbelief. He didn't understand why the Nether Dragon Blood Curse on Lu Ming's body would suddenly explode. He naturally didn't know that this was a disc array that Lu Ming had refined using Bone Devil's teachings. He had used the Rising Dragon Formation's power to destroy it. "Long Zhoushan, the one to die today is you," shouted Lu Ming. The disc array above his head began to emit dazzling light. Then Lu Ming waved his hand, and the entire Rising Dragon Formation trembled. Then countless rays of light shot toward Long Zhoushan. What's going on? How can you control the Rising Dragon Formation?" Long Zhoushan shouted in disbelief. But in the next moment, the Rising Dragon Formation's rays of light bombarded Long Zhoushan's body. Boom! Boom! Long Zhoushan tried his best to resist. However, the Rising Dragon Formation's power was too strong. Even with Long Zhoushan's strength, he couldn't resist it. The rays of light bombarded his body, and the powerful force suppressed Long Zhoushan. Boom! Long Zhoushan knelt on the ground, stirring up a cloud of dust. Brr! Long Zhoushan let out a beast-like roar. The terrifying divine energy of a divine king erupted. It was like a burning planet, trying to break free from the Rising Dragon Formation's suppression. "Kill him!" Lu Ming shouted. The disc array above his head shone even brighter. It had completely merged with the Rising Dragon Formation. This was the Bone Devil Sect's Lu Ming's disc array. It was incomparably mysterious. It could control the Rising Dragon Formation for a short period of time and suppress Long Zhoushan. The Rising Dragon Formation seemed to have a mind of its own. Rays of light turned into chains, wrapping around Long Zhoushan. Although Long Zhoushan tried his best to resist, it was useless. His body was tightly bound by the Rising Dragon Formation's light chains. These light chains had a terrifying suppressive effect. Once they were bound, they would kill their target. Damn it! Long Zhoushan roared as he struggled. He couldn't believe it. Lu Ming could control the Rising Dragon Formation. This was completely out of his expectations. He had researched for countless years, but he still couldn't find a way to control the Rising Dragon Formation. If he knew such a method, why would he need to use Lu Ming to refine the Nether Dragon Blood Curse? He would have released his main body long ago. Lu Ming, a young disciple, actually knew how to control the Rising Dragon Formation? But now he didn't have time to think about it. Escaping was the most important thing. "Lu Ming, what are you doing? You really have guts. You dare offend your superior? Release me." Long Zhoushan roared, taking out his status as the Kongshan School's sect master to pressure Lu Ming. Laughable. You want my life, but I don't dare resist? Is there something wrong with your head? Lu Ming disdainfully sneered. Furthermore, you're not the Kongshan School's sect master, Long Zhoushan. The real Long Zhoushan's soul has long since been destroyed by you. You're the nether dragon inside, right? How did you know? This time Long Zhoushan was even more shocked. Lu Ming was actually able to guess this. He was practically a monster. "Correct, I'm not Long Zhoushan. I'm the nether dragon. Lu Ming, do you know how strong I am? Once I escape, I can suppress the Qin Tian starfield with a flip of my hand. Release me now and I swear I won't harm your life. In fact, I'll even give you a great fortune," roared Long Zhoushan. Seeing that his threats weren't working, Long Zhoushan immediately changed his strategy. "Great fortune? I don't care. I'll only be at ease after I get rid of you." Lu Ming snorted and continued to control the Rising Dragon Formation to kill Long Zhoushan. Bang! Bang! Long Zhoushan's body let out a series of explosions as his divine power was crushed by the power of the Rising Dragon Formation. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.